Yo, what's going on, everyone? We are back again, another WrestlePurists Podcast. We are here. We're going to be reviewing AEW Dynamite, which was a very interesting episode last night. And also, Edge has revealed that this Friday will be the last match on his current WWE contract. So, got a lot of talk about that as well, and a few other things that we're going to get into. But first things first, please like, subscribe, super chat if you're feeling generous. Always turn on our post notifications, and hope everyone's doing well. Starting with my fellow co-host Joe Hulbert. How are you doing today, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. A nice, quiet, uneventful edition of Dynamite for us to kind of rattle through here. Shouldn't take too long. Nothing particularly newsworthy or noteworthy that's caused any debate. So I'm excited to kind of, smooth sailing. Then we can talk about Edge for a couple of hours. That's my intention. I hope
Pretty
everyone
good,
is well, and I'm glad to be here, mate.
He's all right, isn't he?
Yeah, he's all right.
Good. Pretty good. Charlie, the designer of the All In It WrestlePurists shirt. Go get it now on our. Man, he's only just noticed, even though he's seen me on screen for the past 10 minutes. But it is here. All In It. All In is next weekend. Specially designed by Charlie. The merch store is now open. I should probably put the link in the description, but it's on our Twitter page. So go over there, check it out, see if you find something that you like. But Charlie,
yes,
how are you doing today?
I'm good. Had a pretty chill week, to be fair. Got my nails redone, so I don't feel so fucking useless without them anymore. But yeah, excited to talk about Dynamite. Maybe it's gonna be interesting.
Sure you are. I'm sure we
Absolutely
are. We all are.
Hyped to talk about Edge. Love that.
Yeah, man. Manny the Hooper. How has your week been, mate?
Fine. Gotta talk about some bullshit, I guess, but it's fine.
Well, hold on, Manny. We can't. You started us off hot, you know.
I mean, I'm excited to talk about Edge, though.
Yeah, man. Not a bad start, but you know what, man? We're gonna dive into it straight away. AEW Dynamite last night, Fight for the Fallen. Some money was raised for good causes, and a very nice gesture by the big man 2K. But it was, in terms of content, a very Charlie's dog is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Anyway. AEW Dynamite, Fight for the Fallen, very interesting episode, depending on how you're looking at it. Manny the Hooper, you didn't sound very happy with it. Where do you want to start? You know, you was implying that you was getting trolled. You know, you've made some wild suggestions. You know, you was not happy with what you saw last night.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this show. I mean, like, everything to me kind of sucked. Besides the JR thing, which it sucked too. It was just fun. It just felt funny, you know. It's like a funny kind of suck.
Funny kind of sucked. Fair enough.
I mean, I don't know where you guys want to start. I mean, let's see. The Orange match was all right. Fucking stupid ass finish too. You don't even know where they're gonna go with Orange, and like they're doing all these finishes for him, like just to get out a win with like no direction whatsoever. You know, you could have thought Yuta or Swerve could have beaten him for the title, and they just keep going in directionless circle with him. That stupid chainsaw match, bro. I did take. I don't know.
He was fired up in the moment, and then I think it settled in.
Okay, Manny, keep going. My bad. Go.
You know what? No, you know what? Let's start with MJF and Adam Cole.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to start off with it? Look, man, I'm all cool with seeing MJF and Adam Cole interact and everything and all that shit, but man, I don't want to see them motherfuckers back to back taking up 30 minutes of my time, bro. Let's spread out throughout the show. I felt like yesterday everything was so forced into one segment, and like everybody was just like, everybody's been complaining about the build to this show, and I feel like they had to like force everything in, like weeks of TV that should have been happening. They decided to just do it in 1 week, knock it out of the way, and I get Adam Cole and MJF for like the hottest thing going on in this company, but there's no way that they should be like take up whole TV time. You should be able to spread that up and build to it instead of just having it one time, congesting a whole show and just feeling it like it drags. And I've been getting that kind of vibe from AEW for a while, and like I don't know. It's just kind of pissing me off. I just want to see my work rate shit again. I mean, that's all I want to see.
Yeah, they did cram quite a lot of MJF, Adam Cole kind of all at once, last night. That's kind of been one of their strong points in the build to Wembley Stadium. He's like the MJF and Adam Cole, but he's kind of like last night. Even though I did like I think they could have probably just got away with doing the in-ring promo.
Yeah.
What do you think, Joe?
I don't know. I think they like it from a TV perspective as it being like the lead in. Like, now you know what's coming up next. They give you the comedy skit and then it's like, stay with us till after the break because they're going to be here live. The skits are not really my thing by any means. I don't particularly like the way they're produced. I also, I think the live segments have got so much better that it's kind of, I wouldn't miss them by any means, but I think they like it for that reason because it's kind of like a, like a sort of bat signal to the audience. They're here now and they arrive afterwards. So I think that's the fault behind it. But I will say, I mean, I know it wasn't Manny's intention, but I think he kind of started off at one of the show's stronger segments because I thought the live segment was great. MJF really did a terrific job of his promo in particular, right? He kind of encapsulated and embodied the importance of this event, I thought, really well. So I really like the live segment. The skits are not for me. That is what it is. But I thought this was probably the best thing on the show, to be honest. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. I haven't seen a lot of it, but a lot of the debate, I should say. But what do you reckon?
I'm pretty sure it's the best thing.
Yeah, it probably was, to be honest. I wouldn't assume it was too much of a hot take, to be honest, because it was good, like the live in-ring promo, and they managed to get fired up, but in a way that it kind of suits that they're on the same page still. It wasn't. I don't know. I can't quite find the words I'm looking for.
They've navigated it well in the sense that they haven't lost the friendship thread that people like and enjoy, but they still got serious and carp around about why the belt matters, right? I think is the point, and that is hard to do. And I think they've done a good job of it because I remember when we first were talking about ideas for this, and it came up like, what if they do a babyface deal where they're still friends? All of us were kind of like, that could work, but that would take some skill, and I think they've done it so far. So credit to them.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job with it. Been getting a lot of attention. Charlie, MJF is kind of, he's kind of won you over in recent weeks, really. But what do you think of the build to this All In main event?
I think the build's been really good. Like, it's been like one of the best parts of Dynamite each week. I'm good off the video packages now. Like, I enjoyed the first couple, but they're just getting more and more ridiculous, which I guess is like kind of the point of them. But I don't know. I don't personally need them, but if it pops people, it pops people. It's whatever. I really like this segment, but it kind of surprised me that this wasn't the sort of segment they did for the Go Home show. Like, it feels like the match should be next week now, but we still have another Dynamite in between. So I don't really know if they can do another promo segment that would feel different enough next week on Dynamite to warrant there being another Dynamite in between the shows. I don't know, but I thought it was really good. I thought they knocked it out of the park again. The live promos have been awesome.
Yeah, it's I think they've done a pretty good job with it. There's also kind of like the big question mark hanging over the main event. Like, it isn't a foregone conclusion, which is always good for like a big title matchup, especially when you're going into such a big show. It's definitely I'd say it's one of the pros, although it has came with some fair value frustrations with it as well. Some of which Manny definitely highlighted. But yeah, we got to talk about this chainsaw match, man. Let's just get it out of the way, Let's just get it out of the way. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match. Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy. A very scary graphic when we first saw it last week, and I think it very much lived up to its expectations. What the fuck was going on, man? I think it's best that we all, Manny, what the fuck was this, mate?
Some shit, bro. I don't know. I texted Monty yesterday. I logged back on Twitter just to text him that ruled. He's like, I just left it like that, and then like it ruled because how bad it sucked, bro. I can't believe that they let that on TV, and I know it's for a good cause and all that, but there's no way I would let that happen on my TV, bro. Like, it was just as bad to me as when the Miz had that zombie match or whatever.
It was very much their version, wasn't it?
Yeah. And he came out, and like the Chainsaw Master came out with his stupid chainsaw and was following people around, and I don't even know how to describe the match because you couldn't really see any of it happen. It was just in a dark horror.
The red lighting.
Yeah.
It was. I don't even know. The backstage stuff just made me laugh so much that I like kind of enjoyed it. But when they got out to the ring, man, like it just. I don't know what happened. It was just. I don't. Good for them for raising money for charity. That's my takeaway here.
That's what I feel bad, like shitting on it, but man, fuck, man.
Oh no, the match was bad. I don't care about shitting on the match, but they raised money for charities, so it is what it is.
I couldn't even tell who was who when they were fighting. I was like, who's who? I was like, who's attacking? Bro, it was so horrible. I can't stand that shit.
It really was like one of the low moments, you know, when we look back at AEW, you know, it's
Dynamite died.
I don't know about all of that, but you know, it was tough. You know, it kind of felt like it was going on forever at parts as well. You know, over here in the UK, we get all the picture-in-picture, and there's kind of just this poorly lit, poorly shot, scrambling around, just skits. Like I don't know what it was. I don't know. This is one of the fucking. This was one of the worst things I've seen on TV in a minute. You know,
just on TV.
Yeah, it's not just wrestling, bro. It's on TV. Joe, where does this rank in the all-time terrible AEW TV segments and matches? It's got to be top 5, 10.
It feels like it has to be just on content. The one thing I would say about it that could protect it from the very top is it was like at least self-aware and knew it was dumb. Which there's something to be said for that, right? Like, for example, if we're going to do a direct comparison, both of these things are bad before I go any further. But like, you know, the Pitch Black match that WWE did? I remember talking to you afterwards one, and I was like, they kind of took it seriously, man. That's like the worst thing you can do. You know, they kind of just had a match in that. At least with this, they were like aware it was schlock. I don't know if I can praise it much beyond that. I will say I had a very different experience to Charlie because my experience was legitimately the stuff backstage in this match has scarred me in some way. I feel damaged by it. Picture in picture with Taz trying to explain what's going on and not actually know him because he was so confused. Once they got to the ring, it got into like it bordered on so bad it's good for me because it was still like messy and guys kept falling down and it was. What I will say, my most sincere praise I can give this is the Leatherface portrayal was very fitting, very good. There were some nice nods. Man, I don't know if you're a big Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, you're a Halloween guy. Yeah.
No, I know. I heard the Chainsaw Massacre was real and it's from Texas, and I said, "Fuck, I'm not gonna watch that shit, man. Sometimes I gotta drive on these country roads, and I'm not ready for some."
Well, fans of the film, there was some cool stuff in there. If you're a fan of the movies, which means absolutely nothing to say. This match was very, very bad. I want to stress again: if you've not seen the picture-in-picture portion of this match, go out your way to just experience the commentary call. Like it's like some of the stuff, like when Sanjay comes in. And they just sit in absolute silence. You don't know what's going on. It was an incredible time, folks. Incredible time.
What experience. I
will say, man, after the show, I was just thinking to myself in my dark room, just like, man, I let AEW get away with so much shit because when I was watching NXT and AEW back to back and they did that 4-way 6-minute Iron Man match, I said, I'm done with this fucking company. And I stopped watching NXT. And then, you know, every week, man, AEW just keeps testing me and all that.
Testing indeed. It was awful, bro. It was really bad. Yeah. It was really, really bad. Quite embarrassing, really. You know, what is it with these sponsored matches, bro? It's like, why do they have to be bad? Like, why can't they just?
Well, they
only
took
one I
a
can
very
remember that's
specific-
good was like the Brian Garcia one from last year.
The Slim Jim Battle Royal.
It feels like they could have done
all the paid sponsorship.
I mean, I don't know what the sponsor wanted. Maybe they wanted Jeff Hardy, but like, it feels like they could have just done an actual death match and people would have really fucked with it. But then again, there was Leatherface involved, and well, I gotta be completely frank, folks. I mean, when this ended, I was like, I'm only looking at that video game. So I guess it worked on some level. God bless. I was watching this segment thinking, this game must be awesome because they've done a lot for this here. This is a real investment.
Jeff Hardy selling like Leatherface coming down to the ring with the chainsaw, just like looking, just stopped in his tracks. Karen Jarrett just slides out the ring.
Karen was trying her best, mate. The whole picture she was yelling, "I want to go home." She's screaming. She give it everything. You got to respect the effort on some level.
Yeah, I want to know who was under the Leatherface mask. I want to know who did it.
Yeah. Brandon Cutler. No, I'm gonna say, man, that wasn't Jeffrey Nero Hardy out there, man. That was Jeff Hardy. He looked fucking badass when he came out, and he had the face paint, and that was peak for me. And then I wish that was a toy coming out, but knowing AEW, that's not gonna come out for a long time.
He is very much a so bad. Okay, like a lot of people, it was very much it was so bad it was fun,
Mm-hmm.
Which yeah, but I guess if
you the Leatherface part was, I'll admit that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's so obscene, The backstage part I did not think was very fun. I found it to be anything but fun, quite honestly.
Satnam tied up.
That was funny. That was
fun. That was an incredible visual.
Yeah. His hands were
he killed Jeff Hardy with that choke slam at the end.
What about when poor Jeff tried to throw a kick to Jarrett's face and just legitimately booted him in the jaw and fell down while he was doing it because it was all slippery backstage?
Yeah, it was all slime and shit, man.
Yeah. I'm kind of mad that we don't see this on the scene wrestle.
Karen Jarrett's got these weapons or whatever the fuck she's got, and she's trying to give people the licks and everything, and people are just they're not selling it because they don't know what's going on. It was really bad.
She hit Jeff, and Jeff no-sold it, and then looked at her and realized she did something, and then he went like that and grabbed his back.
The funniest part was after all of this, in the end, they still had to find the time to do the sequence where everyone hits their move. Like Ego came in and did a power move. Everyone poses for itself. Like, even in this match, you gotta get your shit in, brother. That's the way the game works. Gotta respect it. Incredible. Honestly, probably the most insane thing they've ever put on TV, legitimately.
Yes.
But
that Cody Williams was pretty crazy too.
But that was crazy in like execution, right? Because for some reason Paul wouldn't just make up a number. In theory, that was like whatever. But this was unhinged in every which way. But thankfully,
this was like real wrestle crap.
This was insane.
There's Cody doing a weigh-in, and poor White just not going. He couldn't call it in the ring that night.
The Dark Order punches that. I guess there hasn't been that much cringe stuff. I mean, I consider the MJF.
You sure?
Jericho dance thing cringe.
That got over though, so this didn't,
in my household.
House of the Hooper did not enjoy it.
You did not.
House of the Hooper, that rules.
All right, let's I'm dive into some super chats real quick. Pretty Patel, $10. Joe, I promise not to stay too long, but a man named Philip of Brookington reached out to me inquiring about relocating certain undesirables from his wrestling show to Rwanda. Do you know this man?
No, absolutely not. Under any
Moving
circumstances.
on. Karan, appreciate your 400 rupees. Great first half and a catastrophic second half of Dynamite. Bucks versus Guns was a weird choice for a main event. FTR versus Bucks, never know how to build low. Will be a classic though.
Yeah.
I mean, if the build doesn't do too much else, it's like they've had 3 matches and all of the builds have been, there could be some room for him to do a real storyline. I think I seen you mention this earlier on, Joe.
Yes, absolutely. I think it would be, and I get they're advertising it as the rubber match and it's supposed to be the decider, but to me, they've never had a real program. Like, this should be the start of something to me. I think the winning team should cheat to win, and then we get rolling with a real feud. To me, anyway. We'll get into that some more as we get into the Bucks match, but that'd be my suggestion personally. Or you could do the other deal where whoever loses clean then turns afterwards because they want it to be the greatest team or whatever the deal is. So Something like that, I would suggest.
Yeah, I'd be with it. I think that's what fans really want. You know, like the matches are great. Don't get me wrong. One of the main reasons why I haven't not completely had a meltdown on Twitter, like a lot of friends of mine have about this All In build. You know, because I'm getting Bucks versus FTR. I'm probably getting Samoa Joe versus CM Punk. You know, I'm happy. You know, but if I was being objective, you know, the build has been you know, not good. Not good, you know. It's very much a is this the best you've got kind of thing. And like when you look at like AEW All In at Wembley Stadium, over 80,000 people there, it is meant to be the best you've got. You know, like is this the best you've got? And you look at the card, and it's like the matches that have been announced so far. There's 2 singles matches so far. You know, it's CM Punk versus Samoa Joe soon to be announced. You'd assume. But yeah, and it's not to say that singles matches automatically equal greater pay-per-views, but I think it's kind of it goes to show kind of how the storytelling and build has gone, where there isn't kind of these like direct feuds happening, do you know what I mean? And like you can just kind of throw these matches together, even though the personnel in said matches are great because they've got a great talent roster, you know? And, you know, I'm kind of rambling on, but
no, I get it.
We'll definitely get into it a bit more. 100%. Darren Walker, £10. Appreciate you as always. Forget the bloodline. What Double J and Jeff Hardy gave us was real cinema. Double J and new champion. That fucking belt, man.
Didn't even look like Leatherface, bro. Look like Michael Myers.
Again, I have to draw the belt was awesome. I'm sorry, folks. I have my limits. That was incredible. The belt being rested on his shoulder as he staggers out. And I don't know, man. They're pretty good.
Bro, I looked at that belt a few times and said, "That's not Michael Myers. That's Michael Myers. That's not Leatherface."
Like, yeah.
And then and I was so confused because I was watching it from my computer from my bed, and I see the ref holding a belt, and I said, "Is that a belt? What is he holding a belt for?" And then until you finally see it at the end, I say, "Bro, I can't believe that's what they have for this thing, bro." What does Jeff Jarrett do with it? He just hangs in his office.
He's gonna lose it to Grado. That actually would be awesome. Imagine Grado being like, the thing I want most is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre belt now.
Takes it onto the radio talk sports show, you know, like a real champ.
The most prestigious prize in sports. You know, the sports belt.
Oh man, what a mess. Moises Caicedo. My guy, $20. Monty, don't share this with the broke Merseyside boys on Don't Go Live. I won't. Don't worry about it, brother. Sad Roddy Strong. Poor Roddy, man. Poor Roddy. Fucking, you see when he kicked the tie yesterday. They're fucking cooking him, man. Funny, you know, Hulbert was right again. He's very good at calling out when, you know, a wrestler is it's a rib, you know? It's not the rib in him.
Always assume it's a rib in wrestling. Wrestling's weird.
Yeah. Well, last night, you know. Last night was a rib, you know. $5. All right. Let's compose ourselves. Myself.
If I want to watch Roddy wrestle on the Indies, bro, I would do it. I want to watch him on AEW. Let the man wrestle. Let him put his tiny boots on and go kick some ass.
My neck still hurts. I lost my friend. I think I broke my foot. And Leatherface chased me out the arena. Where did my life go wrong? I don't know, Roddy. I don't know. We all thought that this would be, you know, greener grass, you know, brighter days for the Roddy Strong faithful. But so far, you know, we're still waiting. You know, hopefully it all comes together after Wembley or shortly after Wembley. And I don't know, brother. Dunmaz, $5. Selling out Wembley, getting $100K for a sponsored death match that went to charity. The new Leatherface champion. What can Jeff Jarrett not do?
Real.
You know, he's
Win the tag titles.
Oh man. He did have a lot of shots at those tag titles. Reece James, $5. my guy. Roddy, you're not going to believe this. After I saw you get hurt, I kicked my table and tore my hamstring. Yeah, man.
That was
Dark
personal.
days. Very personal, quite spiteful.
A little bit, yeah.
It was. Jacob Donnelly, $5. Do you think CM Punk has Leatherface banned from Collision?
Yes.
100%.
Dangerous worker. Dangerous worker.
Well, he's a horror fan.
Garbage
He might have
wrestler.
him around.
Yeah. He
Oh,
needs gimmick.
man.
He needs weapons to go over, bro. Can't have that.
Oh, he'd walk out.
Oh, yeah.
He'd walk out. If Tony Khan came to him and was like, listen, we got 100K, and we're doing this thing, fight for the fallen, and it's like, this is where I'm going to have to put this match, and it's going to take up 15, 20 minutes of your show, and, you're going to have to book around it because I'm the boss. CM Punk has left AEW tonight. The next headline. Oh man, what a fucking show! What a wonderful company. What a great company. Oh man, Brainbuster $4.99. Joe, I played the game. It rules. 2, Daniel Garcia is going to be one of the Blackpool Combat Club's partners, right? Yeah, it'd be nice because I would like to see him at Wembley Stadium.
Me too.
It'd be a good
But
show.
yeah, I believe he's been doing hints on Twitter, but I don't know if he's been tweeting and deleting like he always does. But I'd be happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, $1.99. Don't go live Tuesdays, absolutely. And if you went to the merch store and you was hoping and praying to see a Don't Go Live logo T-shirt, then hopefully you will be in luck in like the next week or so. So yeah, man. Shout out Don't Go Live. Another shout out for Don't Go Live from O'Shea. Appreciate it with the $1.99. Yeah, man. Shout out Don't Go Live every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, covering international wrestling because they can do it much better than we can. Trust the Process $34.4.99. Appreciate you. Build is not good. Monty, how dare you criticize CK in the booking? Don't you know you're not allowed to criticize AEW, otherwise you're not a true fan? Oh no.
Well, we're fucked.
I'll have to hand back my badge. I ain't true fan of AEW.
You like
Take
all
the
that.
flags down.
Listen, if you're not, I'm wrestling, man. All in it. But yeah, like I said, selfishly, subjectively, I think the build has been, I don't really care because I'm getting 2 matches that I really want. Like I'm like my top 5 fantasy booking matches. I'm getting 2 of them, so it's like okay, whatever. Do what you want. But if I'm trying to be objective and like review and critique or whatever, then like there's a lot of holes in the build and the actual card itself.
Yes.
So, Codeman's left hand, $4.99. O'Shea Jackson is a D-list actor and a tribalistic Mark Lowell. Oh, hold on. That's quite spiteful,
Monty, you
Very
just, did,
spiteful, man.
you just did the thing like an Anchorman where you read something you're not supposed to and just now they can clip it.
All-time great bit.
Just the Process $34.4.99. TK Size Wrestling gives us an alternative, and you guys have the nerve to criticise. Disgraceful. Everything is perfect, and the show will be great. Yeah, man. These are the games we play. If I've got a turn heel, we've got a turn heel. Cody Wills $1.99. Appreciate you ordering my WrestlePurists tee now so I can wear it to payback. Oh, God bless. That's we need presents everywhere. We've got the All In It tees. Oh, there's going to be thousands of people, Joe, in WrestlePurists All In It tees.
I've heard that,
yeah. We've planned it.
If I see anyone with WrestlePurists merch, I'm going to go up to him and demand royalties right then and there.
I want you guys to know.
This is what you do. You walk around with a Sharpie and you just go up to them and sign it.
If you guys bring
That'll be $10.
If you guys bring $25 to the Wembley, Monty's gonna have a box out there, and when you buy it, he'll sign it for you on the spot. Just so you guys know.
I have separate fees, to be clear. So
Yes.
don't try to shoot me.
You have to pay per signature.
I'll be right back. Joe, fill that out.
God.
But he's gonna get the
He's
box.
left us. that heel turn came pretty quick. He's just left us, folks. Well,
He's got to
nonetheless,
set up the stand, man.
we will be proceeding with our Dynamite review here in the coming moments.
Yes.
But for now, I'm tasked with filling dead air. So, Manny the Hooper, which piece of new WrestlePurists merchandise are you most excited to buy?
That pink hoodie.
The pink hoodie is
pretty
cool.
sweet, yeah.
I
I like
like
it.
Getting a lot of good feedback already about the pink hoodie.
Good at it.
I've got two.
You
Am I
scared
still doing it? Am I
everybody.
still feeling?
You scared everybody with the colored. Everybody's so used to black and white T-shirts. You threw out a
Yeah,
pink hoodie.
true.
Everybody
Yeah, get
just
some
lost their
colours
minds.
going, man.
People
I
throw
like
their
the
Get
blue
some
phones
one
colours
as
out.
going.
well.
I haven't got any colour here though. I've only got some white ones, but I've got this one here.
That's what I'm
my
saying.
God. Oh my goodness, there it is.
Real grabs.
Beautiful.
love it.
Fucking grabs. What other one have I got? Oh, and I've got a logo one. Look at these promotion
Hold
people.
tight, folks.
I like how you gently handling the clothes. You know, it's okay.
Yes, very much. It's at WrestlePurists to get a link for these.
Love it.
Look at that, waving the flag.
Absolutely.
Get yours now. Over on our Twitter page.
Yeah, that's exactly what just happened to me. I was about to give a link and didn't know what the link was yet.
It's like WrestlePurists Shopify or something like that.
WrestlePurist.myshopify.com, I think.
There you
Something like that. I might get a fancy new domain, you know, and
Mhm.
but we'll see. You know, we'll see how people warm to. We'll see how it goes. You know, we'll see how it goes. You know, hopefully we can. The designs are very basic to start with, and hopefully we might start working with some illustrators or something like that, and get some real stuff going. You know, try to collab with some people. Collab with Late Night Green, you know. We might try some big collaborations, you know. Good luck. They don't network well.
Try negotiating that one with Shoot.
Yeah, good luck. It's
The
tough.
Oracle too, you know. Yeah, man. But yeah, hit up our merch store. Anyway, Dynamite. Talk about that again. Where do I want to go next? Anyone want to throw something out before I just kind of give us something else to talk about?
I do want to say Penta's mask was immaculate. He had the great Sasuke mask. And then Ray Phoenix, I think, had the Hayabusa mask. Great masks. Great luchadors. Great wrestlers.
Where were all your masks, man? Where they gone?
Took them down.
Why?
It's a long story. Now they're just in my closet. Eventually, I'm going to do something with them. I don't know what, but I will do something with them.
I think you should hang them up again. It was a good aesthetic, you know.
No, that was took a
The
lot
old
of,
you, not old Hooper.
It took me 3 hours to take them down. I don't know if I'm gonna, spend 3 hours putting them back on. I started collecting art though.
Nice.
Where is it?
It's over here on the side wall. I just noticed that. I just noticed. Like I thought it was straight the whole time. Now I'm looking at it sitting down. It's like curved like this.
No.
Like that? I assume that's an exaggeration on your part.
No, I'm looking at it. It's not even straight.
We have a good time.
We do.
Yeah, man. Speaking of the Lucha Bros, obviously, there was all the commotion that went on after Wheeler Yuta lost his match to Orange Cassidy for the international title, and the Blackpool Combat Club were there. They were doing a beatdown. The Lucha Bros make a save. Eddie makes a save. Eddie Kingston returning from Japan. He lets us know that he's ready for Stadium Stampede at Wembley Stadium next Sunday. Definitely a choice, an interesting choice. It's always going to get a big pop in the arena. It's always interesting to think about how they're going to approach these Stadium Stampedes and matches of this, anarchy in the arena, anything like that, But yeah, Eddie Kingston, he's back from Japan. What a great time that is. And, he's going to be on Wembley and we're going to get to Pot 4 and Joe Hall. But what do you make of the Stadium Stampede choice?
I'm torn on it in the sense that I think there's a chance it's incredible. And it does certainly add a marquee value to the show. Like, I do think it's unfair that people are framing this as a road to when it's Stadium Stampede. That is a big match in AEW, like genuinely. One of their most iconic matches, in fact. And it main evented, even the second one main evented the 2021 show, right? So it's a big, big show. Big match, I should say. But I do have some concerns about, like, Look, there's no polite way of saying this. Production in AEW as of late has been a real issue, and
That's quite a polite way of saying it.
It's been a real. I mean, it's been catastrophic. Dare I say? I mean, it's been a problem, and we're going to be watching this on the screens. It's inevitably because it's a fucking humongous building. So I hope they have stuff kind of prepared to set pieces. What they need, they need like individual things that the match can hinge on. And you go from one beat to the next. Anarchy in the Arena was very unique, the first one, because it didn't have as many of those, so much as it had all-out chaos, and they just did their best to shoot it. I think in a bigger room with this, I do think you need more set pieces, and you need more, signature moments in the match to kind of build it around, because otherwise I think it's going to be very hard to follow. But if we're being completely honest, this will probably be better at home, just because I think it's going to be very hard to follow for obvious reasons, right? So I'm in the middle. I don't mind it, but I think there's a chance if everything comes together. Lest we forget Anarchy in the Arena, it could be great.
Charlie, Stadium Stampede, Eddie Kingston is back. How are we feeling?
I'm so excited that Eddie's back. Like, the pop that he got was incredible. It's like he hasn't missed any time in AEW still. Like, the people love him, and he should have all the belts, I think. So, yeah. Stadium Stampede caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting it. So they got one up on us for that, I guess. Like, that was like a genuine surprise. I am excited about it purely for the fact that where I'm sat on the floor, there's 100% going to be something going on near me. So I'm going to have like a close-up view of something. So for that, I'm excited. But I'm just interested to see who the last three partners are.
Where are you sat, Charlie?
I'm sat in section P, I think. So it's like where the ring is, it's on like the right side. And
I'm in gorilla position personally.
Back.
Yeah.
And like right at the end of the row, like in the aisle. So like when you go like at an angle from the ring, they're gonna go straight past us. So it's good shit.
You get a headset too, like I do, or do you just because like I'm obviously got
Yeah.
I know.
Can't produce.
I don't know what everyone's
direct from the crowd.
Directed traffic from a seat.
Monty was really uncomfortable at the O2 because like the show started and I started plugging stuff in and getting set up, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I've got some matches to call, brother. Get me locked in. I'm talking to John Cone,
Money.
I will say though, just quickly, they need to stop putting BCC and gimmick matches after this, because this is a lot back to back to back with the same people. So they need to just let other factions do things.
They all should focus as individuals, and hopefully, I mean, Mox is going to move into either an orange match or an Eddie match. I lean towards the latter, but hopefully Claudio and you are going to some single stuff also afterwards, because I think they'd benefit from that as a group at this point.
Yeah. Manny, Stadium Stampede, are you a fan of them?
The way production's going right now, I'm not really too thrilled. Because I'm going to be watching it from TV, and I'm afraid I'm going to miss a lot of things.
Well,
it's been crazy.
I'm going to be there and same, so,
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have similar experience. We're going to be watching the screen a lot in the building, right? Like, it's different if Charlie's on the floor, it's different. You're going to have stuff around you. But if you're just in the stands, we're not watching the screen.
The Fight TV feed up on my phone. Just keep up with it.
See how that goes.
Who do you guys think the three people are going to be? Because I think I know the three.
Come on.
What's your guess?
I think it's going to be Garcia, Shooter, and Nigel.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't tell if this is the perfect match to bring Nigel back or the most insane. It's probably a bit of both. Because in some ways you can hide a guy in this, because there's 12 blokes in it, and a lot of it's going to be walking around punching each other. But it also is insane that like Nigel's he's going to come back and be part of a 12-man fucking Stadium Stampede thing. So
and it kind of makes sense too, because then he could throw more digs at Danielson and all that he's been doing. So and then we kind of cool. Kind of be cool to see Nigel and Penta in the ring to see how that interaction.
Penta just approached him like every other fucking wrestler does, all of his same spots. Totally unmoved by it.
Penta chopping him, and then like I don't know, then like Nigel trying to do something and he can't because Pinches all protected up the gills with all his vests and stuff.
Protected up the gills.
What am I putting it?
Shooter and Garcia, my guess is. I don't know who the third's going to be. It could be Homicide. That wouldn't really surprise me.
My God.
Homicide
gets
Wembley.
booked at Wembley. I have no complaint about any of this if he gets booked at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
They can put anything else. If they book Homicide for Wembley Stadium, they can put whatever the fuck they want on the rest of the show. I don't care.
Oh, man.
Did you guys see that people were pitching that? Because that's like one of the first names that I saw.
I mean, I don't think it's crazy. It's just I hadn't thought of the idea of like him at Wembley, like the idea of the Homicide Titantron flashing at Wembley Stadium. Like, here he comes, folks. You know? Here everyone's favorite Ring of Honor champ is here. YTV news talking about Homicide at Wembley Stadium. Fucking cut into Moxley with a Falk or whatever.
No, he would be on the BCC side.
Yeah, but I wasn't saying Moxley would be hitting the Falk. I'm just painting a picture, a mental image, you know. Like imagine like the news broadcaster. You know, wrestling fans got a shocking surprise as Homicide appeared. And it has a picture behind of like, you know, fucking there's a picture of Eddie Kingston and John Moxley bleeding all over each other, you know.
And if Shooter is there, I can't wait for the footage of him just being like overwhelmed by another big crowd he's in, just like shocked at what's going on.
There's going to be a lot of that, I'd imagine. It is very much going to be a once time ever for a lot of these people who are going to be on the show, you know. So take it in, and I'm sure a lot of them are. But yeah, man, Stadium Stampede, and I do like Manny's guesses. I do like Manny's guesses for the mystery partners. Garcia and Shooter obviously seem to be like the what a lot of people are guessing, and you know, it's kind of
like the Step Brothers.
Yeah, you know. Any left field suggestions of who it may be? Someone said Goldberg.
He's blowing up right now. He's big on YouTube. It's very platform. Maven's really catching some fire right now. Maybe they'll bring him in, make a town, you know? Tough enough, might have been popular. I don't know. I don't remember. Is Gallows available?
No.
Well,
Gene Snitsky?
Oh, Chris Hero.
We're getting hotter.
fuck it, Shingo's in town. Does it make sense? Yeah. No. Will I pop for it? Yes.
I saw so many Ishii suggestions today, and I was like,
I don't get it. Did everyone forget Forbidden Door? Like, it happened like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, you saw.
The product.
Look, bro, that theme hits, different atmosphere in the building, you know? It's a different game. Changes everything.
Adam Copeland. No. If Adam Copeland's going to be in any match at Wembley, he's going to be tagging with fucking Jack Perry to face Hook and RBD.
Well, hold on now.
If that actually happens, I would fucking cry. It'd be funny as fuck.
Big Ben's 97-199. No Daniel Garcia or Sammy on the card. Obviously, obviously was guessing about Daniel Garcia. Sammy Guevara, I don't think he's going to make it. There'll be a battle royal, so you know, he'll be able to go and take in the atmosphere, etc. You know, but yeah, man.
You know, when Sammy came out yesterday to help to help Jericho, I cringed. I was like, oh my god, a Sammy and Ospreay match on Dynamite just sounds like the worst thing possible.
Does it?
I think that could be worse. I think we've seen worse in the last 24
hours. I think it's got worse last night.
I just see both guys are just gonna go into their. I shouldn't even talk about a match that might not even happen.
Yeah, good idea.
Hold on. DB $2. The biggest WWE attendance ever got Triple H versus Roman. Wow,
it was a classic.
It doesn't matter what WWE.
That was when. Remember when the bill for that was that Triple H had got a jiu-jitsu coach and he kept doing arm bars and stuff like that.
What?
It was fucking awful, man. It goes under the radar.
Manny's ears parts up. Like, hold on a minute.
Everyone booed Roman, so it goes under the radar. But that was his last like true hatchet job as wrestler because he loved getting cheered in that feud Triple H did. Like he relished it. What a piece of shit! Incredible.
Big Ben's 97 for 99. If you were gonna do a Stampede here, why do Anarchy in the Arena at the last pay-per-view? Oversaturation of certain stipulations, blood, hardcore spots is killing the allure of them. Well, there is a lot of no DQs and stipulation matches in AEW lately, so not even lately, they're just always kind of has-been, aren't they? Yeah, mate. So
I agree, and I
still the allure of them. So
I also, and this is something again you could have missed, so I apologize if I did, but I didn't love the way that like the best friends and the Lucha Bros are just like they're just on the same team now. It's like I don't know if I missed. I thought they like hated each other, isn't that like the whole point of that bit? You know. I don't know.
Maybe it will play out on the pay-per-view.
Gotta let it play out.
Regal 199 is back. BBC at Wembley in front of 80k. Incredible. Yeah. Something like that, mate. Almost. All right, where do we want to go next? We spoke about a couple things.
Where can I find that video of him doing jiu-jitsu?
No, man. You're podcasting. Wait a minute. Kenny Omega sit down with JR. Let's get to that one. Kenny Omega sits down with Jim Ross, and and he's talking about like how Don Callis was like an uncle to him, and how he's been betrayed by him, and he's very subdued, and he's not this big fired up, wrestling promo or he didn't, kind of a start of a promo, I guess, and then Don Callis comes in and he interrupts the interview. Kenny Omega then stands up. As he stands up, Jay White blindsides him, and he gets taken out by Jay White, Juice Robinson. Even Don Callis himself gets involved, and just beat down angle, and it's seemingly setting up the match that they're gonna have at Wembley, and it didn't do a lot for me, a lot of people involved in this probably could do a bit more, to build to a pay-per-view match. It was also shot like a fucking Eric Andre fucking sitcom or something, Like,
It was, yeah.
Jim Ross, Jim Ross, he didn't want no part of it. Man, he's still looking for these Triple H videos. I'm very look at him.
No.
Manny, come back. Come back to the podcast and tell to us about Jim Ross being just, he didn't want any part of the violence, did he?
We're talking about the Omega thing?
Yes, of course, man. Jim Ross sit down interview with Kenny Omega.
I just thought it was funny. I feel like nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And the way I don't know why it was filmed like that. I felt like they had like better quality cameras there. I mean, it just felt weird. And then like it felt really weird when they zoomed down. You see how small JR and Kenny are like compared to like how empty these places. I just got like a weird vibe and all that. I don't know. And I don't know. It felt like a whole bunch of weeks of build just within like 2 minutes. So.
Weird segment. It was a weird segment, especially when you consider that like All In is next week, and this is very much just them being like, how do we get from point A to point B where we can do a 6-man, And it's like, so you get this beatdown angle, and then it goes back to the commentary desk, and it's Caliber. He doesn't, as Joe Hulbert has critiqued many times, as all of us have critiqued. It's Caliber when people get beat up and attacked and viciously, and these crazy things happen. He doesn't do the best job of selling it,
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back to the commentary desk, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, vicious attack," and we caught up with Hangman Adam Page, who went to the hospital with Omega, and then he switches to another segment to where Hangman Adam Page is, he's just been with Kenny Omega to the hospital. He's outside, he's by the shutters, and he's sipping on a beer. So he's drinking again, Charlie. A lot of alarm bells went off there on Twitter, and he cuts this promo where he says that he and Kota Ibushi will be teaming with Omega to take on the people who just attacked him. which were obviously Takeshita, Juice, and Jay White. So that's how we got from point A to point B, 2 back-to-back segments. Charlie, you are the elite law specialist. Can you sell me on this match, please? Better than they have on television.
There's so much history with everyone in this match, and it really does annoy me they haven't done more to build it on TV, because there's so much that you can go into. Just like even the fact that Hangman was like so casual about the fact that he's teaming with Kenny and Ibushi. It was like the main issue between Kenny and Hangman for a while was the fact that he couldn't replace Ibushi. Like Kenny was treating him as a replacement, and Hangman just wasn't what he wanted him to be. So, but I'm very excited for this match. Obviously Kenny and Jay have a lot of history in New Japan, and everyone was bringing up that fucking. Do you remember in Impact when Kenny was champion and Jay White just came out?
He led to nothing.
Nothing ever happened.
Were Gallows and Anderson there?
Yes, they were.
It led to the segment.
It led to the segment, yeah, long-term storytelling.
Makes you wonder what the finish is at Wembley, folks, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is a lot to like about this match in terms of like the lore and that, but I think they've done a bit of a disservice with the way they're building it. Unless it's leading to a bigger program, then I guess I'll take my criticisms back. But I think we're going to be seeing some heel turns with the Elite soon, with the way they're portraying their characters on TV right now. I think they've realized that as much as Kenny can be a great babyface and the Bucks just do their shit, whatever, they've all kind of run their course with these current characters. So I think the heel turns are coming. It's going to be exciting, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope as well. I'm sure the match will be great though, because the 6 people involved. Obviously Kota Ibushi, he's still shaking the rust off. And but when you're in there with the other 5 talent, I'm sure this is kind of a great opportunity for him to be able to kind of have something a bit more steadier, and play the hits, so to speak. Hulbert, how do you feel about how we got to point A to point B with this 6-man tag?
I mean, yeah, this was completely hurried and slapdash, and to Manny's point, was like 3 weeks of development and drama and gravity and jeopardy all jammed together as one, right? That's the spacing element of it. The content of it, as you were mentioning earlier, Kenny's promo I thought there was some interesting content, but he didn't seem exactly enthralled to deliver it. And the attack was completely, not that it was well done to begin with, but it was completely undercut by the cuts to Jim Ross, which is funny as well. They were. You couldn't take it seriously after. I mean, it was ridiculous. One cut is, but they went back to him again, and Jim walked off. So, they were issues. I think it's frustrating because I'm not at all like against this match. I actually, as a fan who's going, kind of like this match more than the singles. I'm not someone who's like super against it or Kenny not working the singles. Like, I think this match is awesome on paper. I just wish they took the time to just build this in advance and get this where it needs to be, because it's a big time deal and it felt very slapdash, which is a shame because it deserves better than that. Luckily, as we've all mentioned a million times over, once it gets in the ring, it'll be fine. But that was frustrating. The other thing too is they need to, and I think he's going to be okay just because he's going to wrestle Kenny the following week. They've got to do a better job with Takeshita as a TV character and singling him out and making him a focus of things. He always feels like a supporting character in these situations. And, that's something they really have to do a better job with. Now, again, once he wrestles Kenny Omega and they get 20 minutes on pay-per-view, that will help him a lot. But you need to still do some of that work also, right? Like, give him a bit of a run-up to this deal than just throwing him in the match. But love the match. Can't wait to watch it. I just wish they did a better job setting the stage for it.
Yeah, the Takeshita point, especially because it's just, he was, of course, being aligned with Don and, turning on Kenny and all this, and he had, all this heat, bro. And he's, people were comparing his heat to, Don Mysterio for a couple of weeks, this is the level of heat he was getting. People were booing the shit out of him, whether it was because he was aligned with Don or not. He was still getting heat himself. He was cutting heel promos in Japanese, and, we kind of wanted that to be, I feel like the audience were ready for Takeshita to be like the hot heel of the summer.
Absolutely,
and he has not been that. He's, as to your point, he's kind of felt like a bit in the background a bit, and he hasn't really had anywhere near the emphasis that he probably should have, because he'll be fine because he'll have a classic match with Kenny Omega, you assume, on a pay-per-view, but it's like, build to it and make it mean something to, because if he does, I think he probably will win the first one.
Really?
I think he has to.
I don't know, man.
The way that they've built him, I think they're going to need to do it again.
See, my guess was I thought he was going to go over it. I feel like I would probably have him beat Ibushi at Wembley and then have Kenny win the singles. But the only reason I say that is because I think, like, to me, there's a lot of money to be made with Kenny going after the belt at some point,
Yeah.
I think you can bring Takeshita up a lot having a great singles match that he loses. But then again, I guess he did that a lot. You might be right on this, actually. I haven't really pondered this. I don't know.
Make him.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe so.
Yeah.
I have a question. What makes Hangman drinking make him a heel?
It doesn't
not
necessarily
sure that's what
make
Charlie
him a
said.
heel. It's not.
No, I saw people talk about it. I was like,
It's
man, brother
because,
can have a
like-
beer or something?
What is the significance of it, Charlie? Except for, obviously, he's a recovering alcoholic or whatever it is.
Because of the last time that Hangman was drinking so much on TV, it was when the Elite was starting to split, and that was like his thing. It was just like the further we got into like the Elite splitting or like him leaving the Elite, the more he was drinking on TV. So the people think that like him doing it again now on TV means that either he's going to leave the Elite or the heel turns come in. Like, so something's going to happen with it. They're kind of like signaling oh shit, you should expect something like in 2 months. I don't know.
Elite law people.
Elite law.
There you have it.
It happens. There's going to be something in the match where Kenny's going to have to make a choice of either hitting the last call with Hangman or his finisher with Ibushi. He's going to have to make a choice there. It's going to be great. I can't wait. Like, as much as I wish the build was better, I'm so fucking excited for this.
Absolutely. And also, it is worth noting, Juice Robinson being in this match is a story within the story here. And he's earned it because his recent performance has been great. But if I'd have told you 6 months ago, he's in this match and he belongs. So credit to him.
Joe, it's funny that when the graphic came up, I just pumped my wrist and said, "Fucking Juice Robinson, bro. He's in this match."
I got this post yesterday. It came from the Collision 2 out of 3 Falls match, and I was putting it up, and I thought, "There's no way I could have guessed that'd be a Juice Robinson match graphic on my wall." I did not see it coming.
Hell of a setup,
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, man.
Tremendous.
Yuzura Hart, heel book, $10, appreciate it. Heel books always makes sense, but heel Hangman and especially Kenny feels like a throw, even with MJF flipping. Everyone is mad Kenny Omega isn't in a singles at All In because everyone loves that goal right now. Yeah, man, definitely. There is definitely. Also, it's one of the special attractions that like AEW has. It's like a Kenny Omega best bout machine singles match. And that's kind of been the run that a lot of people were like really hoping and praying for when he was out for so long. It's like when he comes back, he's ready to. He's going to come back. He does the trios thing. And then, when they drop the trios bout, it's like a lot of people were rubbing their hands together, like, here we go, And there's been a couple singles matches, and they've all been great, because obviously, but it hasn't quite been the singles run that, that Omega fans are yearning for, has it, Joe?
I would keep him babyface, Kenny, personally. Heel Bucks, I think, is not a necessity, but I do think it's the right move at this point. Same. Hangman, I think he would be interesting and could freshen him up. But I also feel like he doesn't actually need to freshen up so much as he needs to just have singles feuds because he hasn't had one now since like March. And the last one he had was great. So I'm kind of torn on the other two. Kenny, I actually think should be a babyface. But
I don't think Kenny should. It's just, it's an interesting dynamic of, do you have like the Bucks turn and like Hangman do whatever the fuck is going on with Hangman, keep Kenny face, but keep them as a group, just not doing things as a group as much.
It's interesting. I mean, I think I will always be intrigued by it. If they never want to do it again, I get it because it's like the perfect match. But I always think there's money in the rematch with Kenny and Hangman versus the Bucks because that's like probably the best match they've ever done. And again, I would get not wanting to go back, but like I think that would be a big attraction personally. So you could do something with friction between the group. I don't know if that's what the audience wants necessarily. And that's kind of that's the challenge, right? Is like keeping them as a unit, but giving them all individual directions. It's not dissimilar to what we talked about at Blackpool Combat Club. So it's going to be interesting where they go in the next couple months.
I kind of have a hot take on the Bucks and Kenny. I think Kenny talking about when he was injured, right? He kept talking about how he's going to retire and all that, or he might not wrestle again. I think that kind of like him always talking about it kind of messed up how people see him now, because it's like, well, we only have him for a short time. Like we don't want to see him as a heel. We want to see him as a face. And I think the Bucks too, always talking about retiring. I think kind of just like people were like, why do we want to see him as heels? Like we want to see him as baby faces and all that and getting cheered. To me, I think that kind of just ruined how people want to see him reviewed. So it's kind of hard how you play with their characters.
I think there's truth to the Kenny part. I think people would cheer the Bucks. Would boo the Bucks, sorry. I think they'd boo the Bucks.
People love booing the Bucks.
Yeah, and they're best that way, you know? Like,
yeah.
Because they get to ramp up their personality and have fun and like be actively obnoxious and ramp people up. They're the best that way. So, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, man. Guess we'll see how it plays out. There's always many directions these elite feuds can go in as well. Always. And there's always going to be certain threads and layers and hints. And Charlie's going to keep us all updated with it.
Yes.
Corey Stallings, $4.99. 100% Takeshita needs to win at All Out. Kenny Omega will get booed in Chicago. He probably will.
I didn't think about that part, yeah.
People love Kenny, though. He's kind of like... I would imagine out of Hangman, Bucks, and Kenny would get booed the least in Chicago.
Yeah. And there will be some... I'd imagine some people will be flying him through. I mean, I know I am, but I'm obviously a dipshit. But I mean, other normal people. So it's different to like a TV in Chicago, you know? Like there'll be
absolutely
fans from across the country. I would assume. I could be wrong.
Not yourself, Joe?
Well, yeah, you can get an 8x10. You know,
I'll plug these appearances, bro. You know, you're going to be signing all in its shirts, even though it'll be after the show.
I will be at
What time's your Starcast?
I'm not going to Starcast. I'm going to a jazz festival instead, because of course I am. But I'll be at Dynamite, Collision, and of course the All Out pay-per-view extravaganza. So if you want to get a photo, please bring a hefty amount of money.
All right, Joe, continue to plug your special appearances, and
I will be.
Because I'm going to try to put this. I'm going to put this link in the chat.
Joey,
with Kenny, I don't actually like if it's just Kenny by himself in a match in Chicago. I don't think he'd get booed.
Yeah,
I really don't. Like, especially on a pay-per-view, like you like bring him out to his music and that. No association with like the elite, like on that show. I don't think he'll get booed.
I hadn't thought about this Takeshita finish before, and like I totally get the idea of putting Takeshita over, but there's a big part of me that's just like, man, it's time for Kenny to just be the top guy and kick ass and beat everyone. You know, I really feel that way on some level. Like
I've been waiting for that for long.
I know he got cheated, but the last tape ended with like, or the last, you know, not Forbidden Door pay-per-view ended with him getting pinned by Wheeler Yuta, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like if he goes 25 minutes with Takeshita will still get a lot out of that, even if he loses personally. Yeah. But I'm easy. They're both great wrestlers. Who cares?
Like, it would be easy to like have Kenny win and then go down the route of, did Don Callis like cash in on Takeshita too soon? Like, did he make the wrong choice here? Like, it's easy to play it out either way.
You can build on Takeshita chasing that win too. Even as a heel, you can do that. You know, I mean, God, Omega knows that. We've seen that story before, right? So, yeah, it's interesting.
Plethora, $1.99. BCC partners are Sabu, Sandman, and Nick Aldis. Ready for it?
We certain it's not Gene Snitsky, like genuinely. Bob Holly?
I'm not even dignifying that with an answer. Will Chisholm, $10.
It's Billy Gunn. He's coming out of retirement.
The spacing on this show was crazy, but this is what happens when you bring in the guy who was going to replace Kevin Dunn. I blame him.
Well, I mean, he was good for a while.
Weren't we all? I hope they put that on my grave.
It was good for a while.
He was good for a while. He's all right, man. That's, you know, not too much. You know? It's hard to single one person out when we're getting what we're getting, you know. Mushin Iqbal Raja, £4.99. Appreciate you. Where does where does get his match graphic posters or pictures from? Where does who?
I think you sound like Joe.
Oh, sorry. They used to put them on the AEW show. Every Monday there's a different matchup. They sell like, I think there's 50 of that one, and they do like a special limited edition one too.
Yeah.
So,
God bless.
some really cool ones.
Bruh, $5. How do you turn Cole at All In without him cheating to win the belt? Having Max beat him clean, then turning to build to another match seems odd.
Yeah, I don't think the turn happens at Wembley. I just don't see it.
Yeah,
No.
I've kind of,
Like-
I was kind of like I still think you could do something epic by doing it and creating a really timeless moment. But as we get closer, it kind of feels like that's not when they're going to do it, you know. So it seems like they're going to not drag out because people are enjoying it, but it seems like they're going to stretch out this, you know, MJF Cole stuff till maybe it's like till the end of the year. To be honest, I could see like them having. I doubt it'll be the first match. No, I doubt it'll be just the second match. But I reckon they'll blow it off at Full Gear, probably at the end of the year.
So. Right for, I mean, it's red hot, right? So I get it. I mean, it's not your traditional big show main event in the sense that there's the conflict is will they, won't they, right? That's basically the idea, and it's like I think the show's going to end with a tease of a turn, and then they're going to hug, and that'll be the kind of triumphant close. I really believe that, and honestly, I think they'll get over great in the building. To be honest, so we'll see.
What Adam Cole did tease a heel turn. He did the thing where
he did,
did the super kick. You know, some more elite lore callback stuff.
elite lore.
Elite lore.
Z94.99 AEW needs to take note from WWE about promoting the biggest wrestling shows ever. Shockingly lackluster, not trying to be divisive, a fan of wrestling. Oh yeah, it's like WWE obviously when it's SummerSlam, WrestleMania, like they promote WrestleMania like a year in advance, you know. It's but obviously they've got a lot of experience with doing these huge stadium shows, and especially with like the WrestleMania part of it being like the show, which a lot of fans rightfully feel like this should be with All In. You know, WWE they do this build every year, you know, so it's different. So this is AEW's first stadium show, you know, unless you count Arthur Ashe. Is that a stadium? It's not really. It's an arena. You know, it's not like it's like in the middle. You know, it's not like it's
a stadium, but it's the attendance is that of an arena.
It's like a 20K, isn't it? So
I'm gonna give Tony Khan the benefit of the doubt. He didn't know he was running Wembley till like 3 weeks ago. So
someone wrote it as arena on the schedule. He was baffled. You know, like why is everyone so mad about this? You know, like, he's just baffled by it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It has been somewhat lackluster to say the least. But it'll probably do like for all the criticism, it will probably do the very AEW thing of having a show that completely blows away the build to. So they have been known to do that. So hopefully they'll do this times 10 better than they've ever done ever. You know, next weekend. So. Next weekend, man. Almost feel scary saying it, but you know.
I'm terrified. Yeah, I mean, I just don't. You know, I've said some scary things. I don't want to get attacked in the building. You know?
I can only imagine the traffic. That sounds brutal. 90K people. Imagine getting out of that place.
I need to get the train. It's gonna have to be a train. So I ain't driving around to London, mate. Fuck that. Trust the process. 34,499. These fake fans and complainers don't understand that TK didn't have enough time for a proper build. Gravity and QTV time rightfully deserve priority.
That's the process in his bag tonight. He said, I'm getting shit off tonight.
Listen, there's a lot of shit loaded, there's been a lot of just like shite, you know. I don't know, man. It really felt like, you know, you had the last pay-per-view and then with Forbidden Door, it's like you get that out of the way, and it's like, I don't want to get Blood and Guts out of the way. And it's like, they do that, and it's like, now what? It's just,
And then we got to the beginning of August, and it was just like, well, we're 3 weeks away, and we know nothing.
To be fair, that did produce the best Thursday podcast that this particular squad has done, in which Monty went so far that Charlie then began to treat it as like therapy, and when we were treated to like an hour breakdown of this. It was incredible.
Yeah.
So,
I think we went 3 hours that day, right?
it was incredible. It was unbelievable.
It was one of the funniest episodes.
Yeah.
Like, going back and listening to it, I was just like, wow, I really was annoyed.
There's one point where you just start like yelling, "Where are the graphics?"
I got them, so it worked.
You won. I mean,
you got 10. You got like fucking 10 last night. But you know,
Yeah.
I want you all to know, man, that the therapy session didn't end at 3 hours. It kept going for a few more hours after. It was
yeah.
Yeah, oh, yes.
When we get off there is when my therapy starts. I have to say.
God bless. You know, we just, we wanted something more special. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, $5. FTR versus Edge and Christian in Chicago gonna feed families. Yeah, man, definitely one of the matches I'd be hoping for if you mates to jump.
Bro, that was awesome.
That match would honestly be great. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Dumbass $2. I need Nick Jackson and Juice to interact.
Yeah, man. Do a singles. Fuck it. Give Nick Jackson some singles.
Invested in Nick Jackson.
Charlie, you've never suggested Nick Jackson singles. Why don't you suggest some of those?
Hopefully someone listens. You know, Big Ben's 97.499. Feels like we get MJ.
Comment. My bad.
Big Ben's 97.499. Feels like we get MJF clean win. Both guys hug plus feel good, and then Punk's music hits and we get a stare down to set up All Out. Cole turns safe for All Out.
Does that mean that Punk's going over, brother? Punk walks into creative that day, strokes his beard, and goes, "Well, I think a turn would be a pretty good idea here, fellas. What do you reckon?" You know, incredible.
I don't think we're going to get that Punk MJF match for
really.
Not All Out. I don't think.
Interesting.
We're getting it at WrestleMania.
What do you think the match is going to be all out? Fair.
Adam Cole MJF.
Really.
Adam Cole MJF 4.
We're talking about how lackluster and shit the build. You want me to predict the next pay-per-view? Fuck. Fucking hell, mate.
Yeah, I've got no clue who MJF's going to face it all out. I hadn't even thought about it. Don't affect
Maybe
me.
it's me. Maybe I got time to shoot an angle. I tell you what, folks, if he does a sit-down interview with Jim Ross, you keep your eye out for old Bing Bong. I might see an opening.
What a show. What a show.
God, I love how organised AEW is. This is great.
What happened to the company that had their 4 champions lined up in a row, Like, now they don't even know what they're going to do next week or 2 weeks from now.
$5. Floor ceiling for Ospreay Jericho. Vibes after entrance is going to be at 4 stars for me already. All-time theme song matchup. People do love the theme songs.
Let me tell you something here, man. Jericho's baby mama ass is gonna go out there with Ospreay and have a fucking 4.25, 4.5 star match, and people over here bitching about it right now. But when it happens, they're gonna be praising it on the timeline. That match is gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It will be great, especially in a stadium.
Yeah.
I honestly think the atmosphere is going to be so good that it's going to be really hard to go there and have a match that doesn't go over. When you got Ospreay in there as a worker and Jericho as a star, this thing's going to be great. I totally get why people don't think it's the most interesting use of Ospreay. I get it, but I have no doubt about this match. I think it's going to be tremendous.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Ospreay's going to be working like he's possessed, bro. Like, you know, it's almost scary to think of the level that he's going to try and hit in front of 80,000 people in Wembley.
He's going to chop the shit out of Jericho too. Jericho's down for that. I mean, he's nuts in that regard. Like, the one thing I would say is I think I will prefer the match personally if they work it as like a rough kind of shootout, because Ospreay can do that now. He throws bombs, right?
Yeah.
I would prefer that than Chris. Like, I will do the Will Ospreay match. We will have because he kind of did that with AJ, and that was the issue with those matches. Like, Chris wanted to be like a WCW cruiserweight again, and it was not the best version of that. So I think he's, learned from those kind of experiences, and I think this is going to be great, personally.
if Jericho works like a similar way he did in the Bandito match, but just like
Right.
on a higher level because it's on a pay-per-view, I think it could be
Mhm.
fantastic. I think it would
I
be
agree.
great, man. I'm excited.
I want Jericho
completely
to
agree.
block. I want Jericho to block the hidden blade once, just to see how it'll look.
One of those deals.
Going like that.
We need the
he
hidden
does
blade. We need the hidden blade versus Judas foot post.
No, like that's what I'm talking about. He does like the match starts off with Ospreay doing the hidden blade. He blocks it and tries to turn it into a Judas effect. He uses the momentum to do it.
If we get that poster, that is probably the best Holbert prediction of all time, if we're being real. Because I don't think it was on the air, but there was a. When was this? This was months ago, right? This came up, and I was like, he can work Ospreay. I got really excited about it, the idea of it.
Yeah, it was like a month ago.
Jericho's looking at these match graphics. Like, look at these fucking losers doing their multi-mans. I'm out there with Billy Ospreay, baby. Let's go. Give me. Put me in, coach. You know? Incredible.
He is. Logan 199. I should be facing Win instead of Jericho. Money. Indeed. Logan the German Shepherd. Linnea Harley, $2. Appreciate it. Bucks don't feel big anymore. They need a reset. Well, they're about to beat FTR in Wembley at Wembley in front of 80,000 people for the AEW tag title. So, yeah,
they've just gone back into the tag division, so you'll get what you want.
Man, if the Bucks want to go up to another level, man, they know who to talk to.
Manny Hooper?
No, Mr. Phillip Brooks.
Oh, come on.
I wish you'd have just said it was you. They bring Manny in as their manager.
Oh, man. Works for me. I'd put it over on the podcast.
Imagine Manny with one of those like tracksuits that Cutler wears, you know? It's money involved in this.
Amir, $2. What match would you like to open the show? Well, obviously, it will be following MJF versus Cole. So, what do you think would be best following that and opening the pay-per-view?
Start off with the women's 4-way.
I think there is a good chance of the Jericho Ospreay match opening.
Yeah, because you want one of those themes that really sets the tone too, right? Mm-hmm. Before, when the rumor was the 6-man with Eddie and Orange and the guys, I thought they were going to start with Orange music or Wild Thing. Now that Stadium Stampede, that'll go later. So yeah, I think you're on the money. I think Jericho will get the opening slot there and rock and roll. It'll be tremendous. I'm excited.
Could you imagine if they open with the tag match? They open with Bucks and FTR. That'd be
what about Punk versus
My dad would go home afterwards.
Might just be on my phone the rest of the show after that.
What about Punk versus John?
I might go home now. Yeah, I mean that needs that needs a certain amount of atmosphere, so it's certainly not a bad idea.
Are we sure that I'm not sure that Grado versus Double J match is going to end up on this show because
it's going to happen every episode.
Didn't MJF say MJF versus MJF and Adam Cole versus Aussie Open is going to be the only match on the buy-in or 0 hour?
Is it?
I don't know.
I'm sure he said something along those lines.
Wow, really?
Someone please correct me.
Adam Cole was like really putting over the fact that everyone needs to be in their seats by like 5 p.m. Interesting. I can't imagine TK's giving up putting like he'll want more matches on that. Like at least one more match on the buy-in.
Yeah. Maybe old TK. This is this new TK. I don't know what he has.
This new TK.
He loves shoehorning things on like on the buy-in.
He's gonna have Renee and RJ City going through the crowd asking questions like it's like a stand-up bit or something, you know. It's gonna happen.
Just disgusted.
About the business.
Alright, man. AEW Dynamite. Is there anything else we want to touch on? Bear with me while I pull up the results.
Ospreay hitting Jericho in the head with that chair.
Yeah, the Jericho Don Callis segment, of course, in the ring. Don Callis, they're booing the shit out of him. And he calls out Jericho to make his decision on whether he's going to accept Don Callis' invitation to join the Don Callis family. Jericho comes out, does a little bit of build to anticipate his decision, but he actually accepts the invite, which catches Don Callis by surprise. Don Callis wants to get out of there. because there is a mystery painting with a cover over it. And, Don Callis, obviously, he was expecting a different answer, so he's trying to get out of there. He don't want Jericho to see the painting, but Jericho insists on wanting to see this covered up painting. And when the painting is revealed, it is a picture of Don Callis holding Chris Jericho's severed head. Very graphic. Jericho's very taken back by this. Don Callis tried to say it was a rib. It wasn't a rib. Jericho was too sharp. He was too sharp last night, Joe. Chris Jericho was. Things escalate. Don Callis smacks Jericho in the face. Jericho gets Don Callis in the corner, and then he's attacked by Takeshita at first, I believe. They go back and forth before Will Ospreay. Then, he's the, what would you call it? He tilts. He assassinates. He tilts things in the favor of Don Callis and co. And Will Ospreay is on Dynamite, setting up his match with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho gets a bit of color, just a little bit. He gets hit with the painting, and that was that. I thought Don Callis and Chris Jericho. I thought, considering the content of what they were doing, they it's two guys who know how to cut live promos. What particularly popped me when Chris Jericho told Don Callis nobody gave a shit about him 3 years ago. But Joe, what did you think of this one?
Jericho has become a fascinating character, and I don't know if they're fully. So, on last week's show, he was called to a meeting in which he could barely get a word out before all of them told him to go fuck himself, and he was left standing on his own. And then this week, he was going to join Callis' family, only to just mere minutes later go on this rant about what a useless piece of shit Don Callis is and why he's worthless and meaningless. And you could only watch it and think to yourself, but Chris, you were about to join the man's. I mean, what? He was about to join his group. I don't know. It's fascinating me. Like the psychology of it is like jarring, but they're headed to an Ospreay match in London, so I guess it doesn't really matter, right? Because Ospreay's going to get cheered there anyway, so whatever. You nailed it, man. Like the delivery's good, and they have good fire in their promo. But it's like the direction is puzzling to me. I just thought it was strange. The idea that the whole thing was like a setup on Don's part. It's like, sure. I don't know. I actually didn't really know what to make of this, even though I thought the delivery and the performance was good. Ospreay had great fire on the attack, and the promos had good delivery. But it's just the content I found to be a bit puzzling, personally.
Manny, did you pop to see Ospreay last night?
Yeah, I thought his fit was crazy. I don't know about it; just looked crazy. I don't know, but
okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing I get from it. And then I want to say, I was perplexed because I didn't know if Don Callis and Takeshita were part of the United Empire or they were part of like the family. I don't get it because the United Empire is canon in AEW because Aussie Open is literally represents them all the time on TV.
Mm-hmm. So, they were also part of the Trios tournament.
Yeah, so I don't get what's happening, but Takeshita and Ospreay as a 1-2 punch in AEW is an insane faction on paper. Yeah. They're up there with the Elite and BCC, so that rules.
Charlie, Jericho versus Ospreay, the match you've been wanting for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you feeling?
This is one that I've been pitching for years and years, ever since it got stolen from us. Like, I'm well excited. No, I actually will enjoy the match. I just think building Jericho versus Ospreay for a show, you literally could have just had Jericho come out to the ring and say that he wants to face Ospreay on All In, and no one would have questioned it. Did we need to halt Takeshita's heat and like his build for the past 6 weeks to build this? It's not the route I would have gone, personally. But Ospreay was on Dynamite. It was cool for what it was. I don't really care for the segment. The art popped me just because it was just so out of the blue. But,
I believe it was a Mel Coleman special.
Yes, she does all of them. She's great.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Interesting choices all around for this build. They could have just done Jericho being like Wembley Stadium, like the best the Brits have to offer, like Ospreay. It would have been like cool. He would have got a pop anyway. It's like.
Well, to be fair,
the delivery
the best they can offer, but
Good point. The delivery on over a business decision, you're going to have me assassinated. It was fucking amazing. Chris was giving his everything he had. I mean, God bless him. He's swinging for the fences.
That
In
actually
his
made me
backstage interview as well.
Yeah.
And it's been like, it's got to have been over 30 minutes, you know, and like the pretending to touch him up while he's got this clearly dried up blood on his face.
What was that line he had too, where he was like, "I know you've got mental problems." I was like, "Jesus, what is this?"
So what the fuck?
He did this thing. I swear he did this too. I was like,
It was like, I'm gonna get in your head. I was like, whoa, okay, interesting. Please don't bring back the
Jericho
Painmaker.
promo.
I don't want the Painmaker in Wembley.
"Oh God,
Please,
I might want
please
the
God.
Painmaker. I'm sorry. I think I want it. I think I do."
No, because I don't want the shitty version of Judas.
But the Painmaker is so funny.
He could do the face paint if we have the normal Judas song.
Okay, all right, fine. But I want the whole thing in Chicago. I want the full Painmaker experience, please.
Yeah,
I need that one for the bucket list. You know,
Also,
I'm seeing normal Chris Jericho wrestle. That's whatever. But the Painmaker,
Sammy
different
Guevara
entity.
came out.
he did.
Oh, I know he came out.
He was
I
kind of
know.
the one that was somewhat
He
on the
left it
fence, though.
open
He was the
yeah.
last. He was the last person to leave him, and he was like, "If you sort your shit out, I'll be waiting for you," sort of thing.
Who's going to be their third? Like Jericho, Guevara, and who versus Ospreay and Aussie Open? Who's going
Probably
to be
you got to
their?
go back to the Bob Holly conversation, right? You got.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to go in that
absolutely.
direction. Yeah.
That's my first.
Al Snow.
Lance Storm.
Tommy Dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really very
We're
much.
throwing around the big names, you know. As always on the
I think
WrestlePurists
Bully
podcast.
Ray, he might show up. I'm quite frankly, this FTW thing, I'm very scared about that Bully Ray.
Mm.
He's looming over this to me. I'm very concerned.
Yeah, Scott D'Amore has beef with Don Callis. There you go.
Now we're talking once again, Manny. You're heating us up. You're heating us up. We're trending in the right direction here, folks.
Jack Perry said he's going to retire the FTW Championship. How do you think? Do you think he's successful in doing this? And do we
That'd be
think?
funny.
If no one interrupts that segment next week, it's going to be the funniest bit of all time. Just like,
He
yeah, the
just
belt's
retires
gone.
it. Yeah, Taz just like whines the whole time. This is someone do something, you know.
It's got to be where Hook returns, right?
Yeah, I assume so.
Darby Allin and Nick Wayne defeat the Gates of Agony. Gates of Agony are a hoot, I have to say. Darby Allin and Nick Wayne tag team. It's good to see. Just good to see that on AEW Dynamite, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah, this was short and sweet. I had
Enjoyed it.
a good time with this. Yeah, this might have been my highlight of the show for like the 5 minutes it was on.
Did you see they missed that thing when he went and pounced him into the turnbuckles? They missed that spot.
Oh, it was, bro, some of the pounces and just totally owner being totally owner.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
They're honestly an awesome like they're rough around the edges and they fuck some stuff up, but like they're really fun TV. They feel like they know what they're doing sometimes. That rules. More of that, please. You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, Toa more specifically, because Khan is much more polished, but Toa Leona sometimes feels like he's wrestling different matches within the match. You know, he sort of he fires up out of nowhere. I love
He's
it.
wrestling himself.
I thought this apparently so. I thought this was a lot of fun. I like this a lot.
You know, after the match, we had some something very reminiscent of Joker Sting. You know, we didn't get the full like face paint and everything. You know, but like we got something very reminiscent of Joker Sting because he had kidnapped Prince Nana, and you know he said All In was in 9 days, but it's not. It's in 11 days, and he said it's showtime, and it was it was a pop. You know, it was Sting being slightly unhinged. You know, like I said, very reminiscent of the Joker. Joe, it's been this has been one of the builds that they've actually put quite a bit of time into. Like, I think quite surprisingly, like the amount of time, particularly. I'm not. I wouldn't say that as a complaint either. You know, like Swerve is someone that they of course have a lot of stock in. Darby's like. It's Darby's Darby, you know, you don't need to justify that. Sting is Sting, goes without saying. AR Fox, it is great to see him, you know, kind of be there next to Swerve. You know, of course, I doubt he's going to be like one of the main focuses on the match, but it's a cool story to see him on this show. But the main points are, it's like, they've got a lot of stock in Swerve, and of course Darby and Sting, but this has had, quite the build. They've been quite consistently showcased on TV, etc., etc., and this has been one of the things that they've actually put, a proper build in for this match, even though, again, it's not a singles match, but this, they're doing the big coffin match, and this is probably one of the best matches that they could probably make out of this feud,
For sure.
Big coffin match at Wembley with Sting and Darby versus Swerve and AR Fox. So, what do you think of the choice of them putting this much focus on this match feud in the build to All In at Wembley, though?
I like it because Sting is still a big deal, right?
Yes.
And he's especially beloved here because WCW and then TNA even more so had like a lot of TV coverage here. Joker Sting is his favorite thing that he did in TNA. He loves the Joker Sting character, and he specifically says that whenever he comes to the UK for signings and such, he claims that the British fans adore Joker Sting. So I saw this coming from Mike because he said this publicly before.
Yeah.
And I must say, it's not like at times in TNA they went too far with it, but you can tell he absolutely loves playing this character. Like he gets so fired up. It's not that he phones it in usually because he doesn't. He's Sting, but I thought he was in a blast here. So I like this segment. And honestly, to answer your original question, I like the choice of giving this a lot of time because, as you put it, Swerve and Darby are big players, right? They're important. Darby's been important the whole time, and Swerve's getting rolling now. So I think this has been one of the best things in the build-up to the show, and I'm looking forward to the match. Should be a really good time.
Yeah, and it was like I said earlier on as well. It's like it's good to see Nick Wayne just kind of like out there because it's like he was a big part of the kind of reason the feuding, and obviously there was a big beat down at Buddy Wayne Academy, and it's just like, where is he? And he didn't show up for a minute, and but we got some of him last night. Charlie, what have you made so far of this coffin match build?
I think like outside of the MJF Adam Cole stuff, it's been like the most consistently built stuff. And like I'm just really happy for the guys involved because like Swerve and Darby, like they deserve this focus, and it's really cool seeing AR Fox in this spot. And I have so much nostalgia for Joker Sting. I know that like a lot of people weren't into it. I fucking loved it. I think it's great. So the fact that they're bringing it back for Wembley in like some shape or form, I'm gonna pop huge for it. I'm gonna pop huge for Sting either way. But them doing Joker Sting in the UK, it just makes so much sense. So I
told the towel, and Charlie said, "I am an example of exactly that." So there you go.
Yes, exactly.
God bless.
Like this is something they've done for the British fans. Like you've just got to accept it if you don't like it.
I was at a TV taping. This is probably 10 years ago now, and Sting came out. And his big bit for the Brits was, rather than coming out of a baseball bat, he came out of a cricket bat.
Which is so good.
Which, like, just the visual of Sting, like, pointing a slasher drill with a finale.
Oh, God, I hope he does that. I hope he does that at Wembley. Just bring that
honestly might. Yeah, he might.
It'd be so fucking good.
Mm-hmm. So, stay tuned, folks.
Stay tuned. Manny, you a fan of Joker Sting? You muted. There you go.
I've never seen Joker Sting before, but last night was a hoot, man. He fucking ruled it, and I would like to see more of it.
Well, there you have it, folks. You're going to get more of it seems. At the very famous, world famous Wembley Stadium for AEW. All In?
He gave me shades of Heath Ledger Joker.
See, I think it's more Nicholson.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
I think much more, actually. Yeah.
Definitely not Heath Ledger.
I think Nicholson was the goal, but look, man, you can interpret art however you want, man. Yeah. That's how you took it, brother. That's what it was.
Bro, $2. WrestlePurists work hard. We do. But TNA Media works harder. Yeah, they were very quick on the...
they made that video like 3 weeks ago. Someone's got to be feeding them info. Like, this is coming up. Get ready.
Yeah, they had it scheduled and everything, Now we're ready to drop the best of Joker Sting highlight video as soon as that segment aired. So,
I had the... Go on, man.
I say I had the same feeling. Somebody has to be feeding them something because it feels like after the segment's over, they already have it.
They were on the ball with like the Jeff Jarrett, Jeff Hardy stuff as well. Like, it's crazy.
Whenever I see those tweets, in order to make them even funnier to myself, I imagine it's Scott D'Amore that gets the tweet off. like I imagine Scott D'Amore being like almost like he's Batman, like having all these different screens in front of him of the wrestling shows, and anytime there's a TNA reference of any kind, he has to sort of latch onto it. These are the ways I entertain myself, you know what? Scott D'Amore is Batman.
I can't lie, bro. I can't lie. All right, Britt Baker defeated the Bunny. Britt Baker defeated the Bunny and took the last space in the women's four-way for the AEW Women's title at Wembley. This was what you'd expect. House of Black attacked the Acclaimed. Yeah, man. I haven't really got nothing much to say about either of those things, to be perfectly honest with you. Do you think Billy Gunn's probably going to be making some form of appearance at All In, All Out, isn't it?
Yeah, I assume they're going to win the belt.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't care about that at all. I mean, I feel like there hasn't been like any.
Doesn't do much for me either, to be honest.
No.
I don't know. I think they've told that deal pretty well. I don't like.
I have, but it's just like the idea of the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn being the trios champion of. I don't, when the trio's about to introduce and people are like, oh, this team and this team facing each other, I don't recall anyone being like the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn leading the division.
Yeah.
It's like, I know the House of Black, their reign has been, underwhelming, and pretty much most of the trios belts reigns have sort of been somewhat underwhelming, to be honest. But, they are definitely a team that if you plug them in the right match, it's like, at the end of the day, it's Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black, So, and the Acclaimed, they're good workers, but it's just not like.
I don't know. I think this is going to really go over in the stadium.
I hope so.
Oh,
no, yeah, of course, of course, it's the Acclaimed,
That could be a moment, quote unquote. Big Billy.
8,000 people barking with Brody King. It's going to be something.
Billy, everybody just saying Billy, and he comes out. Looking around like, oh, maybe I should go help them and all that. I don't care.
What else then? What else we got? Young Bucks defeat the Guns. Nice little match. Nothing blow away. The finish was a little bit so-so, to say the least, to put it politely. But, I don't think this was a disgrace. But I don't really think this was a Dynamite main event with the Young Bucks, Like, this wasn't that. Charlie, I'll let you kind of give your takeaways from it, because the finish was quite interesting, wasn't it? Although it wasn't executed and pulled off in the most perfect manner, but like what they went for was something interesting to pick apart for yourself.
Yeah, this is why I'm like of the feeling that the heel turn for the Bucks at least has come in, because like they lean into these sort of things sometimes anyways, but they haven't like outright cheated in a match during this run until now. So I think the heel turn's definitely come in. The match itself, though, it was all right. It was just a Dynamite match, wasn't it? Like, they tried to plug them into a PWG match. It worked at some parts. It didn't work as well in other parts, but it's what happens. The Guns are the Guns. You've got to take them at face value. So
yeah, that's kind of like it's. We was talking about it earlier. It's kind of like FTR when FTR wrestled them for the titles, and they tried to plug them in something a bit too ambitious,
You think?
With like an epic. They tried to do like the epic with the closing stretch and everything, and it's just like it didn't quite work out. It was a bit ambitious to say the least from FTR to try and plug them into that. As you just mentioned, Charlie, this was kind of the Bucks trying to plug them into like the PWG Bucks standard match, where they kind of play the hits and you work around it. And there was still some awkward moments, man. But they really struggle with the timing, don't they, the Guns?
They do. I will say in this particular case, it felt like their time got chopped, right? Like it felt like they got really rushed here, which doesn't change your point because it has been a continued, issue. I mean, they've got a ways to go. I mean, I think they have great instincts in terms of the way they want to present themselves, and they have a good idea of being heel characters and promos, but in ring they have a clear ceiling right now. They need to be limited to stuff that's very much, safe and steady. which is fine. But I would then, with that in mind, not have them as the world's tag team champions as they were previously, or main eventing Dynamite. So no shame in it. I mean, Colton's been wrestling for what, like 3 years? You know, I mean, it is what it is. But I thought it was fine. Finish was unfortunate because that was actually, as you said, an interesting idea that on execution was hard to even. It's hard to even focus on what they were going for, right? It just didn't look good.
Yeah, Manny, what did you think of the main event, mate?
Just another typical Bucks match. I mean, I don't know, just it was good.
They are very much. I know we've touched on it a couple of times, but the Bucks, as of late, and it may be different after this. You know, after we assume they get this kind of reset and they win the bouts, and they may even turn heel again, etc. But as of late, it does kind of seem like, I don't want to use the word coasting, but they definitely go out there and they play it safe in terms of the Bucks match, as safe as that can be. You know, they go out there, they play the hits, and they do the spots that everyone knows and loves, and you know, and it's just kind of, it's a Bucks match, you know. Whereas, like, you know, all of the Bucks matches, they'll kind of push the boundaries a little bit and they'll get really creative, etc., etc. Whereas lately they're just kind of doing what they know works, you know. So they do the Bucks match, they do the Nick Jackson hot tag, etc., etc. Then they go home with something a little bit creative. But yeah, man, do you think they're saving it for FTR at Wembley, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I mean they'll be very much there for that one. I honestly think a lot of it is just, as a television act, they are just so much better as heels. Yeah. When you're the touring, you know, act that closes an independent show that's just one of one and operates in a vacuum, you can be baby faces because people love seeing the hits. When you're a TV act, I just think they're way better as heels. So I think that's part of it. There is definitely, I think, a case of like their, I hate using the phrase moves, especially with guys who have as many cool things as they do, but it does feel like those hits have, you know, been restricted a little bit too. It feels like they do a few less of them now, to me anyway. But it is what it is. I mean, yeah, it certainly feels that way. Yeah, I'm not nearly as expert as you are, but ultimately, I know the match. I didn't mean that as an insult. I sincerely meant like I don't know. Wow. That came across so like dismissive, like you fucking expert. I did not mean. I just promised it. But nonetheless, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to cheat to win at Wembley, or for them to lose at Wembley and immediately after win. Like, could you imagine, you know, FTR, they feel they've crowned themselves as the greatest tag, they put their hands out and the Bucks just beat the shit out of them immediately. Like, fuck all that, you know? Yeah, like, I think that's them at their best, and I think they could do a lot of great stuff for that. So,
you know, I think the Bucks have been on that mountaintop so long that they need to have a shitty match, man. I mean, that their hit rate is so high. I need them to come down a little because, I mean, I don't know. Just, hey, I'm tired of seeing good matches once in a while. I just want to see a bad match, you know?
Robert, last week they had a match that you decided you claimed was awful.
I did?
Last week. Yeah, the Hardys.
Yes.
Oh, shit, they wrestled them. Yeah, that's right.
Stupid ain't easy, folks.
It's definitely. I will always enjoy a Bucks match because they are my favorite tag team of all time. But like the last couple, they've just not been the Bucks of like 2021 sort of thing. Like, and like even last year, like the tag matches they were having last year were like great fun. So I think it's just like they've done so much with like multi-bands at the moment that it's weird seeing them be back in the tag division. So I think the FTR match is going to be where it like starts to pick back up again. But yeah, it was just a good Bucks performance in an all right match. It wasn't like what you come to expect from them. So
you know, look, I'm the big FTR fan, but lest we forget, it was only like 2-3 months ago when it kind of was like, whoa, are they good? You know, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
You heat up, you cool down. When you're on TV as much as these acts are, like you go through those runs. None of us doubt what's going to happen at Wembley. There's just no way that match is going to be anything less than great. So hopefully they come out with something interesting to do.
Mm-hmm. Big Ben's 499. Jericho Kalisa's weeks of useless wasted TV time just to fill until G1 finished. Jericho could have shown up at New Japan or just call out Will, as Charlie said. Absolutely. Kamala, 1999, appreciate you. So no TNT or international title on the line at Wembley. Also, how does it get to even a point where TK fumbles the booking of two of his biggest talents, Kenny Omega and Adam Page, for the biggest event? How were they not a priority? You tell me, Kamala.
That was very good the way you did that with the initials there, Monty, because I was baffled.
Because
No,
my brain
looking at it
went
for a
Kevin
minute.
Owens. I was like,
Yes.
that's not
and I was
right.
like, Adam Pearce. What does Adam Pearce have to do with this? But yeah, no, it should. I know we talked about this previously. I was for the idea of the main characters one show be supporting characters on the other, so I can't bury the concept. It does feel like one of your first things that you sat down and settled was who is Kenny going to have the best match ever with at Wembley Stadium. It does, yeah.
Yeah, Kamala adds $4.99. Appreciate you again. AEW has Kenny Omega on their roster and books him just like another guy in 2023. It's just perplexing. Go on, man.
I mean, it's true. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he does that with everybody. Like, nobody in the...
When Manny starts moving from side to side, you know.
You notice Manny saw me doing this and went the other way just to balance it out.
I think the main issue with having someone like Kenny Omega on your roster is the second you start like properly heating him up, people want the belt on him, and they're doing the same thing with MJF right now. So like, you kind of have to sacrifice who can be red hot.
That's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have,
you
but
know.
Fans don't view it like that.
Happy wrestling problems, you know. But if you've got Kenny Omega killing it in singles matches and people demanding for him to have the title, if you've got MJF and Adam Cole, you know, they're doing their Joe's lost the plot. He always hides. He never like enjoys. You know, he never loses it on screen.
Manny the Hooper just nearly knocked himself out cold. I swear to God. I don't know what happened, but Manny fell.
And then nobody caught that.
They did.
Oh, God. All right, carry on. I didn't want to ruin your point, but you carry on. You noticed that.
You know, it's what you do. It's more distracting, you know.
Yeah. My bad, folks.
But yeah, it's happy problems in a wrestling company, you know. And you've got like super over baby faces or even heels. Like, you've got 4 viable candidates to be your top guy. Like, that's a good problem to have, you know. It's like when WWE is like, as hot as it has been in recent months, it's kind of like one of the things that they had with like Raw. It's like, who should be the main people on Raw? Should it be Sammy and KO? Should it be Cody? Should it be Seth Rollins, who's ridiculously hot at the moment? Etc. etc. Then obviously over on SmackDown, it's, you know, it's a 1-horse race with the Bloodline stuff. But you know, it would be a good problem to have if Hangman Adam Page is on having, you know, carried on the momentum he had coming out of the Mox feud. If Kenny Omega was out there having singles bangers every couple of weeks. If fucking Jay White was, you know, being. Jay White's had especially since the Collision run, his run is definitely there's a lot less to complain about, you know. But we all know that his peak, his ceiling is like a top of the promotion heel, you know. Obviously you've got CM Punk, you know, like these are all people that Bryan Danielson when he comes back, Moxley obviously he's held the belt 17 times already. You know what I mean? Look, we've got people you can cook with, man. Claudio, fuck it. Manny would pop, you know. Look at him. Like smart for the first time in this podcast. God bless. Big Ben's 97, $4.99. Do you think more blame should be on Kenny and the Elite for their questionable booking or Tony? Wonder if Tony is holding them back or themselves. I don't know. I think it's always best to just blame all of them. To be honest, I don't believe in singling out one booker or one producer like that one super chat earlier. It's just like, no, man, fucking point fingers at all of them. It's a team effort, you know. It's a team effort, you know. They all put their piece of the puzzle, you know. And it's at the minute. We're just all hoping that AEW does the very AEW thing of underselling and over-delivering when it gets to the night of the pay-per-view, you know. So, and it's very likely that they do that because, as the case with a lot of these AEW shows and pay-per-views, it's like their talent is that good, it can carry them through these sort of things, you know. You get Kenny Omega in a wrestling ring, it's like, what's your floor gonna be? You got FTR and Young Bucks, you know, like you could just announce that and just you know, show up on the night and it's perfect, you know. But yeah, definitely a lot of holes to poke, and we could be here all night talking about All In and, you know, the critiques of it, because a lot of them are very valid, you know. But yeah, man, what an interesting show of AEW Dynamite. Didn't think it was good. Did not think it was a good episode, especially this close to All In. You know, a lot of the problems is definitely what Manny was alluding to earlier, with kind of them cramming so much into like short amounts of time, and the show being like very dizzying at times, and then when you throw then in the midst of all that, you throw in a fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match, which is then followed by Britt Baker versus the Bunny, and it's like, what is happening? It's the way that they flow through this from segment to segment, as I mentioned earlier, the way they went from the Omega JR thing and the beatdown just to the commentary desk to Hangman Page, like at the
brother, it popped me so much. My dad legitimately threw his hands up when they went back to a normal wrestling match. I can't do this. I said, I need some time. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, they just had Leatherface. And I was like, well, fair. I asked him if he wanted to do the podcast in my place, but he was not thrilled by the session.
We'll get that appearance one day. You know, when we get our
you'll have to be
when we get our finances up, we'll get a pre-tape. You know.
Yeah. Bro's starting to talk about pacing now, like a real fucking loser.
I wanted to
go on, man.
I wanted to do a huge rant on All In earlier, and now, I mean, I don't want to do it no more.
It's deflated and sad.
When we entered the StreamYard, go on,
I'm fucked right now because this chair is fucking uncomfortable and it's hurting my ass, bro. I've been looking at seat cushions this whole time to put one on here.
When we got in the StreamYard, we're all talking about it, and Manny's just like, he's all down, slumped. I go, Manny, are you okay? He goes, yeah, I'm okay. Which he may as well just said, no, Joe, I'm not okay. He's battled through. He's a warrior. He's the Hooper. He's a warrior. So.
All right, it's Bill Chisholm, $5. You said fuck that women's match as well. We had a good 2-week run though, lol. Hey man.
No, fuck that. That's bad. I mean,
that match in particular, you know, it's Britt Baker versus the Bunny, bro. You know, everyone on the planet knew exactly what was going to happen. They were going to have a mediocre match with Britt Baker, which was always going to win. You know,
There's only so much we can say about Britt Baker running like in quicksand, and you know.
Yeah, so this is why it was tactical, you know. Like Britt Baker, I've said it many times. She's at her best when she's having opportunities to wrestle again and again, mostly in tag matches, and she can pick up a decent flow, and then you might get a decent singles match out the back of that, you know. But yeah. it's tough, man. It's tough will. Glit Foley 4.99. That's the issue, and go to rebuttal to any constructive booking That's the issue, and go to rebuttal any constructive booking criticism. The match is going to be good, obviously, because their roster is so strong. Yeah, man. It's like I've said it. It's Tony's cheat code. Yeah. Like I don't think I've ever been kind of like shy of saying I don't really think AEW do like weekly wrestling television very well. They do wrestling well because they have a lot of really good wrestlers. So a lot of the matches that they book, guess what? They happen to be very good. So it's it definitely puts like a pretty high floor on the promotion as a whole, which is a good thing, of course. But in terms of just doing, like I said, doing like weekly, week to week TV, building and structuring, and you know, having real focus on characters and storylines, etc., to build into a certain point, i.e., a pay-per-view or a big show, etc. It's just not his forte at all. It's not Tony's forte at all. And yeah, it's like I said, it's like a cheat code, and he gets bailed out. Might be a bit of a harsh way of putting it, but he does have a great roster. You know,
you get into bad habits, right? Because when the shows always turn out great, regardless of how you get there, you naturally. You've seen it happen. I don't think he was ever like brilliant at it, but I definitely think he's got worse at that because he knows ultimately once he gets in the ring, the best wrestlers in the world are going to do what they do, you know. So It's absolutely fair.
Dang, I forgot what I was gonna say already.
Fair. Bro, $2. Will the Brits clap if Saraya wins at Wembley? Appreciate the $2. No, mate, we are sickos, you know. There's a good chance that we pop for it, you know.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm very loud at wrestling shows, bro. I'll be on my feet.
Famously.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
I started many chants at Money in the Bank.
Oh, God, I was...
You started the famous Cody Rhodes.
Oh, yeah.
Cody,
He was threatening. They were
Cody
threatening to throw me
Rhodes.
out. Money had to calm me down. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I will admit, I'm a little bit ashamed of when I jumped the rail to get Dom. That was a little much. I should
Or when you tried to jump the rail to get a picture with Nick Khan. That was
shameless, yeah.
I remember what I was gonna say. Did you guys see the ROH tapings matches from last night?
No.
It was Christopher Daniels wrestling Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, no, I did say that.
It was Ryan Nemeth wrestling somebody. It was Colt Cabana wrestling somebody. I was just
You
laughing.
didn't see who Brian Nemeth was wrestling?
No.
It was Claudio.
Oh, well. Claudio can't always have good matches.
I'm pretty sure it was Claudio.
Yeah, I think you're right, Charlie. It's just a work man. He's like, oh, well, you know.
Oh dear.
And then I was just laughing because like they tape ROH after Collision, and it's just like those three names specifically. Like I came out earlier, like they're not.
It
allowed
was
on
kind of
Collision.
funny.
Yeah, it was fun.
Isn't next week's Collision getting taped with Dynamite, or have I made that up?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It is,
Yeah.
Sure,
Where's
that
Rampage
goes
gonna
swimmingly.
take?
Oh, fucking no.
They should just do like a countdown or something. That's fine. He'll be okay. Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah, nobody watches that shit anyway, so it's fine.
Hey, calm down, man. You have to lash out, okay? Let people enjoy things, bro. I fucking hate it.
What do we call rampagers? Oh, I mean, he just that's what it's called. Right?
Bro just answered his own question. Good bit, man. Cooked him. Hooper's here all week, folks. What do you call rampagers? Oh, I fucking love you, Benny.
Oh man, Dynamite, interesting show. But speaking of All In, Edge has said in an interview with ET Canada, I believe it was, that he was asked about, of course, the potential of him retiring. You know, because there's been quite a lot of talk about over like the past year or so. He did say last year that he would ideally like to retire in Toronto or something along those lines. And guess what? WWE SmackDown is in Toronto this Friday, and he is wrestling Sheamus, a good friend of his. And it's been billed as like 25-year celebration of Edge's career. We talked about it on Monday, John. We would be pretty stunned if this was Edge's actual last match, because it definitely hasn't been built as that. You know, it has been built as a landmark of the 25-year anniversary, but there's been no lot of emphasis put on like this might be it for Edge. But he revealed in this interview that this is actually the last match on his WWE contract, and he truly doesn't know if he's going to retire yet or if that's the plan. I'm still pretty adamant that he's not going to retire. I think he actually does just signs a new deal with WWE and kind of carries on, you know. But if his deal runs out and this is the last match on it, then it is actually possible he might be All In, because it's not a release, so he wouldn't have any 30 days, 90 days, 60-day no compete clause. Of course, there's been a lot of talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, with this revelation of this actually being the last match on Eddie's contract, do you think there is any chance that he actually does leave the company / retires / does anything else erratic? You know,
He's not. I don't think he's retiring, but I will say I think there's a chance he moves to AEW simply because of how weird this situation is. Because it's like, as you said, the company is not promoting it that way, but he's doing media pushing that way, which is a really unusual situation. Is to me, Monty, you follow the news more closely than I, but this is weird to me, the way this is all coming about and the way it's being talked about, and it almost makes me wonder if like they themselves don't know what he's going to do, so they don't want to kind of give him any kind of more promotion than necessary. Does that make sense? Like, they don't want to make a big show of it because they feel like he might be he might be moving across to the other promotion also. About a year ago, everyone, even vaguely in the know, believed that Edge was going to AEW. That was like the biggest thing that you heard in every single place. I've heard a lot less.
I never bought into it, even like last year or whenever it was. It's just the idea of it just never.
I get it.
Even though Christian's over there, and it's just
to paint the picture. Remember, this is when the Judgment Day thing was going down. And like that was. I've heard nothing about Edge moving over since kind of the regime change. Honestly, other than it's just come out in the chat, Dax making his. I was going to say subtle, but no. Dax saying he thinks Edge might come to AEW, basically, is what he said. So, I don't know. It's a really weird situation. DB in the chat mentions Ambrose leaving. I think that's sometimes these deals are where they don't quite know what the talent's up to. It's different to that, don't get me wrong, but I think they're saying up with this. It's puzzling to me. I'm intrigued, I'll put it that way, but hopefully the match goes well, and I'm sure he'll get a great response regardless of where he's going next. So, interesting.
Charlie, you think there's a real chance we see him at All In or at AEW or anywhere that's not WWE in the before the end of the year?
I think there's always a chance of it because, like, TK's gonna throw money at someone like Edge. Like, even if it's literally just your contract's up right now, come do a one-off appearance, then you can fuck off back to WWE. Like, even that wouldn't surprise me, really. If he literally came in, just made the All In appearance, and then signed a new WWE contract, like, that would be very fucking funny. But, I don't know.
It's the real wrestler play,
It is the real wrestler play. Get on the biggest show, like, ever, and then fuck off back to your cushy deal. Like, that's real grabs. But, I don't know. The idea of Edge in AEW, outside of, like, 2 matches, I don't really care, to be honest. So whether he comes or goes, hope he gets paid if he doesn't retire. So
I gotta be, as a singles, there's really nothing I want to see Edge do at all, to be honest. And that's, that is what it is. He had a great career. The Edge and Christian thing does interest me. To Charlie's point, how many of those matches interest me? I don't know, but like,
he really wants to wrestle Kenny, I think, don't he?
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, that'd be a
Hasn't he said that like when he was retired, he was watching Kenny and he was like thinking of the spots he could do?
That was Christian.
Yeah, it was Christian.
Yeah, but I'm sure. I mean, I completely could see him wanting to.
Edge done it as well.
No, I know Edge said he wanted to wrestle him too. So, and he wanted to wrestle the Bucks.
Everyone wants to wrestle Kenny. That's like every interview quote ends up going that direction. I mean, look, I have to be fair. While I don't want to necessarily see the singles run, he is a big star, so I'm sure people would like to see it. It's just fascinating. The idea of him outside of WWE is so like baffling to me. Like what he's called.
That's why I've never bought into it. I think,
it's weird, isn't it? Yeah,
it's sort of like Adam Copeland. I don't know, man.
Hearing Metalingus in Wembley, though, I would go crazy. That would be quite the moment.
I guess they could just get the music. I didn't really think about that. I assume that would be like a
just play the music, no Edge.
No. I meant I didn't think about.
I know what you meant.
Yeah, that would be fucking awesome. To be fair, that kind of happened at the O2 because after Cena's segment, they played one of those Peacock like 5-minute. This is who that wrestler is, and it starts with Edge's theme. And these kids behind us were like, "Whoa, it's Edge!" Fucking owned.
That's like when Johnny Elite came out when John Morrison made his Dynamite debut and everyone thought it was Johnny Cochran.
All-time great moment right there.
Big Ben's 97, 4.99. TK after MJF versus Cole main event. We have another 4 hours of some great ROH and Rampage coming up. I hope you guys will stick around. TK doing the 9-hour taping.
Making the most of Wembley, yeah.
Cooking. But yeah, man, Edge, Manny. You got any fantasy booking for Edge and AEW?
I'm a sicko, bro. I want to see Edge and Christian versus the Lucha Bros. I want to see Edge versus Roderick Strong, Samoa Joe.
You're such a beast.
Maybe Edge versus Nigel if he's around. Fuck, man. You know, fucking just let's fucking see it, man. I just want to hear him just throw up his rock signs like that. The fireworks going up, and you know, I just want to see fucking Spears, bro. And shit.
What I love about the Hooper is there is nothing I know about his fandom that would tell me he's a big Edge guy. But of course he is, because he's Manny. And whenever you think he's going one way, like the idea of Manny watching Edge matches and being like, this is fucking real graps.
When I was a kid, man, the Spear was one of my finishing moves on the backyard.
What was your other finishing moves?
The frog splash and the code breaker.
Oh my. Wow, you were a work rate guy.
I broke a kid's nose.
That's why he's got no knees.
I broke a kid's nose with the code breaker.
Was it one of those catch ones, one of those fancy ones that Jericho does, or was it just straight up?
No, we were fighting, and I just jumped up, got him, and just broke his nose.
Yeah, sounds like he wasn't cooperating, man.
Sounds very spiteful. But yeah, man.
It sounds like Manny used the code breaker in a real fight.
I did.
But then Mike.
Well, I mean, the code breaker was like when I wrestled, yeah, but then I used it in a real fight. Then that guy's older brother came and fucked me up.
You know what I'm gonna try and do?
Did he hit you with any moves?
Yeah, a punch. He knocked me out. I was in 5th grade. His brother was an 11th grader. And the next thing I remember were my 2 younger brothers just dragging me down the alley like that.
He's somewhere else. He's got him ass
down the alley.
I'm not sharing my screen. I am. I'm not. Beautiful.
My mom. I remember my mom saying, "Why are you so dusty?" And like, because I was always like, I was just like.
Look at this beautiful merch, people. What am I doing here? There it is. Can I make it shorter? Drag this over here. And I'll come over here. Look at that, beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Presenting at its very finest, Joe Hall, but look at this merch here, people.
Horrendous.
It's good shit.
Are they European sizing or American sizing?
It depends on where you are, mate. You know, we've got all kinds of range here, mate. So as you can see, we've got the UK versions, and we have the US versions. You know, that also plays into the shipping as well. You know, we've got fucking AirPod cases. We've got a hat. You know, we've got multiple colours in the hat. We've got multiple colours in the hoodie. We've got an iPhone case. You know, Joe, we're professional now. You know,
I've heard that about us. Yeah, we don't believe us.
Here, you know,
rewatch the last 2 hours. We don't believe us, folks. We are professionals.
Absolutely.
Real graps. You know.
Oh, Christian, I don't know about that, man. I brought a UK shirt one time. Fucking small shit. I said, how am I gonna wear this?
Many following the professionalism claims by just singing one person out in the chat and going, "Oh, Christian, what are you?" Like he's at the pub.
God bless. We have fun here. Let's wrap up, man. Let's wrap up. Let's obviously, as I just shamelessly plugged, we've got merch going. I've pinned it in the live chat. If you haven't gone and checked it out, I've just forced you to check it out. You know, we've got all different colours, as I mentioned. UK and EU and US shipping all available. You just got to make sure you're buying the right piece of merch. Yeah, man. Charlie, you have just dropped your latest feature on basically AEW's attempt at it's basically AEW's hopes for restoring the tag division, you know, and of course FTR versus Young Bucks 3 is a very good starting point for that, and they've already got the pieces in play, as you mentioned so eloquently in your feature. Always been a big fan of tag team wrestling, so whenever you get the chance to write about it, it's always worth checking out. And it's got over pretty well on the Twitter app so far, as your pieces always do. You're quite the people like your writing, Charlie. You know, we've done pretty well finding Charlie's articles on our website. We drew drew a lucky number there. Hulbert, your weekly review, as always, your weekly match review that is out. I know you've been streaming on the Late Night Grin Twitch recently. You got anything you want to plug?
Yes, Manny may be with us. We're hoping Manny will make it. Tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, we're going to do a SummerSlam 2013 watch-along. It's 10 years exactly. Host to the famous Cena-Bryan match, Brock-Punk match. So
I'll be there for that. I want to see that match again.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. So we're going to get together for that, and then the rest of the stuff's next week. I'll get to that on one of the other 8 shows I do. So for now, that's my plug.
Is that all the plugs? Obviously, go get merch. All in it. Limited edition t-shirt, limited edition hoodies. The rest of the stuff is not limited. But that's what we're pushing at the minute. We're going to be pushing this merch. It's especially strong, just so everyone knows that we got it. We're going to be singing about it for a while, and then hopefully people like it, and hopefully we can get the hopefully our print suppliers don't mess us around or anything like that, and we don't have one of these terrible wrestling merch fucking situations that you see on Twitter all the time, you know.
Like AEW.
I don't even think that's what Monty was referencing, which makes it even funnier.
No, there's probably like 3 more on the list before that. A couple of super chats before we get out of here, though. Mariah Mills 199, appreciate you. Where are the tees with my Zaddy Ibu's face? Hold on, they will never be released. Willie 199, appreciate you. Which British celebrity is TK wheeling out All In?
Wayne Rooney.
Alan Cole.
Oh my god. And then Doug doing the fucking pre-show with RJ City would be so fucking funny.
Gordon Ramsay.
I swear there are so few British celebrities they could put out there that will make me mad.
Yes.
So few.
Jack Whitehall would be. That would get a pop out of me. I like Jack Whitehall.
He's friends with Tony.
Of course you do.
Him and Tony are friends, you know.
Yeah.
Of course
Daniel
they
Craig.
are. None of this surprises me. Charlie being a big fan, TK's his pal. It's just all.
Dua Lipa has been suggested in the chat.
Wait, whoa. Dua Lipa's from the UK?
Something tells me she's not going to be there.
What? I didn't know she was.
Where's
from the
Ellie
UK.
Goulding out?
Imagine Tony Khan's introduction for Dua Lipa. Like, you know when he had Giannis there in Milwaukee? Imagine him.
Conor McGregor. You know, you have the Gypsy King.
To be fair, he shows up everywhere now. I can't remember the last time I watched a sporting event in which Conor didn't show up at some point. It's really
shameless to bring out some Fulham players. Oh, it would not shock me if they made a cameo somewhere.
Isn't Daft Punk like British or something?
No one said AJ, Joe. This is what I'm telling you, bro.
He's very.
His star value. His star's dying, Joe.
That's why he didn't come up. But he's very against the wrestling cameo gimmick.
No,
remember that was Eddie's thing when Fury did it. He was like, he's the real.
Yeah, turned out well for everyone involved. Anyway, on that note, let's get out of here. Please like, subscribe. We appreciate all the super chats. Please turn on our post notifications. Please check out our merch. Please follow us on Twitch. And check out the website. Check out our features, especially Charlie's on AEW's tag team division. All right. Yep. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace.